Hey Tad,
Yes, Alex?
let me tell you about North Korea, aka the DPRK, aka Best Korea. Okay, okay, so you guys probably already know this from just me talking in the podcast a lot. I actually really fucking like North Korea. Hold on, let me redo that one. I'm really into North Korea. Let me redo that one again. I love learning about this country. Yeah, good enough. I
Yeah, I'm just
really
saying,
like.
Alex, it's real convenient that you're also like super into Russia. I'm just saying.
Let me explain. Let me explain. I
It's
love
fair. Actually, you know
learning
what,
about
Alex? It's
this.
fair. You're super into Russia, and I'm genuinely very interested in China. I think we're just a psyop. I think we're feds.
Well, no, I
Are
never
we the
once said I
Fed
wanted to live
guys?
there or I like them. What I do is like, okay. I love observing them like these fucking animals at a zoo, which is also probably not a great way to say that either. But like, come on though, like it's so
I
fascinating
was
because they live a
I was drinking
completely
out of my
different
liquid
life.
death.
They live such a different life to us that I look over there, I'm just like, holy shit, what the fuck's going on over there, man? Same with
Yeah,
like,
like
same with like
it's
what I
it's.
like about the USSR when I kept talking about Soviet history,
Mhm.
which of course North Korea is very tied to Soviet history, so you gotta learn about one or the other. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. I would never want to live there, obviously, and I sure as hell they would not want me to live there either. Like we would never get along. But I'm just saying, like, it's just fascinating. I'm just really into learning about this weird shit. All right. So I'm going to
It's
talk
just
about a little
like
bit here.
it's such a completely different culture. That's why I like a lot of China stuff too. It's also nice sometimes to be like, hey, you know what? My job ain't so bad.
But
Yeah, maybe I'm
the,
crushing rats in the compactor, but you know what I'm not doing? Shitting my pants whenever I eat anything in the entire fucking continent.
so, eating things. You have food? They don't have food in North Korea. Okay. So it's a really big thing. Like I mentioned random stories. Like, I talked about the guy who went over there and became a movie star. I've talked about the North Korean meth Gatorade. I bet we
Yeah.
off the cuff. I just mentioned how like oh man, Alex, did you hear Kim Jong Un died? And I immediately, without even looking up, said, Ted, he died again back in 2014. This is bullshit. And I was right, by the way. That's how I know. Like I'm just into this stuff. So I'm gonna give Ted a brief overview of some of the things. You might have heard some of these stories before, but because fuck you, I just want to talk about them anyway. Because the country is so closed off, it's called the Hermit Kingdom. The stories that we have are pretty from the same few people that have gotten out and have told their stories, or just, this is gonna sound kind of weird, things we can just kind of observe for what they tell us, but also what we just kind of see by looking over the fence with a pair of binoculars and just spying on them. Because that's what we
I did
do.
see I did see a video of that. There was some guy on YouTube who did that, and he looked through and he's like, this feels pretty fucked up, bro.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Like I just said earlier about calling them kind of like looking at animals in a zoo, it kind of is, and I do kind of feel bad about it. But like, fuck, dude, I'm just so morbidly curious about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, let's
Let's start
take
from
it
the
back.
top.
Yeah,
Tell
how did this
me,
happen?
yeah, tell me the Kim story.
Okay, so eons ago, back at the end of World War II, Japan was doing its thing with the Axis powers and was moving into Korea and took the whole place over. They were just pretty much turned it into like Manchuria. They also took a bunch of over China, or China was in Manchuria. You get the idea. They were just taking everything over. They were turning it into a big empire. They were also down in like the Pacific Islands as well. And so while doing that, when they took over Korea, they were treating the Koreans like fucking dog shit. Now, Japan just kind of hated Korea for a while. I mentioned back in the 1700s, they tried taking it over again all the way back then with their navy. They've had their eyes on that place for a while because it's dangerous trying to get into China because China's coast is so wide. But if I get into Korea, I can, take that place over, make it an outpost, and then bam, I'm right by China, right?
Yeah.
So they had their eyes on that for like centuries. They go in there, take it over, and they just turn everyone basically into serfs and make a bunch of Japanese landlords just rule over everything. You no longer own anything. You fucking don't have a job anymore. You remember what was that fucking samurai movie where the guy had his wife being like railed by like 20 dudes and he lived in like the cuck shack down the road? That was like I don't know if this is very specific, but that was how it was. The Japanese lords would just treat random Korean dudes like that. Every Korean man was in their own little cuck shack. This obviously couldn't last, especially with Japan losing the war. So when they were pulling out, people saw, by people I mean Russia and America, saw this now destabilized, really angry group of people and moved right in to trying to take the place over for themselves. Russia came in from the north because it's just where their border is, and we're like, hey everybody, You like communism? We like communism. You should be communist too. References to World War II, so when Stalin is still in charge. Then America's
Yeah,
like
everyone after World War II was just doing random lab grabs for anything they could get.
Yep, pretty much. So
that's how
America's
we fucked up the Middle East, wasn't it? America, the winners of World War II were getting all these requests from tribes to be like, "This is our ancestral land. This is ours." Like, okay, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. This won't become a problem forever.
Well, there was one tribe in particular that really wanted a piece of land, but we'll talk about them in some other episode. So, America comes into the South and is like, "Hey guys, do you not like communism? Do you like money?" And they're like, "I guess." They're like, "All right, well, we're gonna set up shop here too," because both of these people want an outpost, both on each other, but also on China. Again, Russia, while they are on borders with China, and they are technically at this point like a lot closer because this is when Stalin's still in charge, because they didn't like really break up until Khrushchev did the whole Cuban Missile Crisis. At this point, they're still doing well, but like also, just in case, let's have an outpost right on their doorstep just in case something goes wrong. So they move in there and they get a guy named Kim Il-sung, who was actually not born Kim Il-sung. He had a different name. It was something I can legitimately not pronounce. I'm just going to call him Kim. It is a Russian name because he was born over in the USSR. Basically trained from birth to be a fucking Soviet guerrilla fighter with the express fucking purpose of taking over a country, which is fucking crazy. And they send him in to do just that, take over the country. Now, well, you can't just walk in there and just plant your flag. There's still Japanese guys there. There's the Americans there. You know, things get a little rough. So they originally draw a line in the sand right across the middle that you all know today. They're like, "Hey, this is ours over here. We love communism and shit." Much like what they did over in Germany, where they had East Berlin and East Germany and West Germany being controlled by two different fucking factions, right? Same thing here. But unfortunately, the people they put in charge are the Koreans, and Koreans are notoriously angry little fuckers, and they did not want to be split up. They get Kim in there, he's doing his speeches, rallies up people, blah, blah, blah. You know where this goes. He becomes the leader of what we now know as North Korea. Now, they put a different guy over in the South, but the South doesn't actually go that well, because this is going to sound kind of crazy, but North Korea, for a while, was actually a better place to live than South Korea. And let me explain is why. The USSR was just pouring resources into Kim. They were just giving him whatever he wanted to make this country work as a nice outpost and have a nice relationship. The Americans didn't give as much of a shit. As long as the outpost worked, it worked. So they're
as long as you weren't fucking communist, whatever, I don't care.
So
didn't really work out super well at the start.
So. They put a guy named like Park Chung Hee or something. He has a really weird name. The reason I say or something is because he didn't last very long. He basically became an immediate military dictator in South Korea, and the country went to shit. Then it had a political coup, and then had another one where they just straight up started shooting each other openly in the fucking, they call it the Blue House, it's their version of the White House, and they were just killing each other. Unironically, South Korea sucked in the 40s and 50s. And so a lot of people were actually defecting to the north. And that sounds so crazy today, considering the state of the country.
Yeah.
But after a while, tensions just bring up a little too high. Now, the current leader of the military junta, just does another coup and takes over South Korea. We're going to call this guy Jerry. We're going to call him Jerry for a real good reason. So Jerry takes over and becomes the new leader of South Korea, and the Americans are just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Just keep your eyes on the fucking Soviets for us, please, okay? Could you guys just fucking deal with it? Now, Kim Il-sung sees this. He looks over the border with his binoculars because they're doing it at each other all the time, and he's like, that place is looking kind of weak right now. I think we should have a war with them. Hey, Russia, can I have a war with the South? Russia is like, okay. So they have the Korean War in 1950. For reference, North Korea was founded in 48, so they went 2 entire years. 2 entire years to have 3 coups in South Korea, and then immediately have a full-on war.
I do know one thing about the Korean War is that I think it was Harry Truman. I think he was still president. Is that the reason America got pretty heavily involved militarily and didn't just go, oh, fuck it, whatever, was partially because he was pretty convinced of the domino theory. Did you hear about this one? I don't know if you came across it in your notes.
Well, like when one country falls or becomes communist, they all will.
Yeah, but specifically because they're Asian. That's why they were dead. They were like 100%. They're gonna fall for it, and it's like, damn, it's a little wild. Harry Truman, I like him. He's a cool president. He's an interesting guy. It's interesting takes, but he's cool. I like him.
So North Korea is like, we are now going to fuck up South Korea in this Korean War. South Korea goes, Americans, can you help us? America goes like, fine. So they hit the button. The big button says, let's just flatten North Korea and turn it into fucking glass. Because what is North Korea gonna do about it? Like, unless the Soviets themselves want to get involved, they're just gonna have to hold that L. And hold it they did, as fucking 4 bazillion bomber planes flew over the North Korean border and fucking leveled it. They destroyed the cities, every town, everything was fucking flattened. Pyongyang, the capital, especially got hit hard. Now, it's just fucked. They had to just go like, I think the war ends in a stalemate, the North Koreans said, and the war ended after the capital was flattened. Fun fact, though, while I did just say that, they didn't technically say it was over. They just said it's a stalemate for now. Legally speaking, the Korean War is still going on.
Classic commies.
They're still actively at war with each other. They just don't do anything because it's fucking suicidal. So, North Korea goes to Russia, and they're like, hey, look, we got, like, flattened. Could we, like, have some money to rebuild shit? Russia actually does them a solid. Stalin is like, yeah, sure, okay, I guess that's fair. You guys probably need that. We did help you with it. So they
Stalin's telling his advisors, like, bro, it's just, they're gonna all convert. They're all gonna become capitalists. It's gonna be disgusting. They can't handle it, bro.
Well, here's the thing. There's probably some truth to what you're saying, but Stalin had a weird thing where he really liked Kim for some reason. And I don't know what it was about Kim specifically. He had a lot of charisma. We're talking about Kim Il-sung, the first guy.
It might be, I mean, if he's the first guy, was he raised to be just like a communist hitman? Like
he was, but like the Stalin need him personally before this? I'm not entirely sure. So
because you could say from ideology, it's like, well, hey, Kim, like Stalin was not. I don't think he started dripping in communism, right? Like he was part of that whole movement. So Kim would be from birth in that environment, right? Maybe I feel like that might have been part of it.
So he agrees to help rebuild Pyongyang and anything else they need to help rebuild. But like the Soviets didn't like personally go to Pyongyang and help rebuild that, and then everything else they just let the Koreans have money and just build their own towns, right? Now, those buildings in the 50s are the buildings you see today.
Because that system works.
Yeah, those are the buildings you still see today, by the way. All of that was rebuilt, in the 50s after the war by the Soviet Union. Now, part of it, like a little political peace deal bullshit, Stalin himself goes to North Korea to meet with Kim Il-sung, shake hands, and be like, hey, here's the city, here's to a glorious future. And I know I've talked about the story before, but I'm going to bring it up again. Is that during this little speech, Kim Il-sung's on stage, he's like, the Soviets helped us out here, and then you hear a guy in the crowd saying, Kim Il-sung, you're a fucking faggot! He throws out a fucking grenade and throws it onto the fucking stage. Kim Il-sung says, oh shit. But again, time slows down. A grenade has just hit the fucking, the deck, and he's like, oh my god. And then, out of fucking nowhere, a Russian Soviet soldier gets up and says, get out of the way, I've got this. He runs forward, leaps onto the grenade, it fucking explodes underneath him, obviously killing him, but he tanks the explosion and saves Kim Il-sung's life.
Alex, that's exactly like the Disco Elysium combat moment where you jump on the thing and get shot. Time slows down. What do you do? Explode myself for the movement.
So after that point, Kim Il-sung was all in on the Soviets because from his perspective, they just saved his fucking life, right?
They literally jumped on a bomb for me, bro.
Yeah.
I gotta fall like a domino. I gotta.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, it's actually debated if Stalin maybe planted that whole thing just to have him more loyal, but I never found any evidence for that. But then again, I'm trying to find evidence of North Korean shit, so good luck with that.
if Stalin was literally there, fuck no, he was not going to have someone throw a grenade at him. It's like the people that said Trump faked getting shot in the ear.
That's true. Stalin was on the stage. He was right there, so that is true.
Yeah, he ain't going to risk that shit. Not for fucking Korea.
Not for North fucking Korea. So, at this point, he is locked the fuck in with the Soviet Union. And here's the thing. Mao is still alive. Yeah, Kim Il-sung, Stalin, and Mao are all alive and buddies at one point. What a fucking crazy time to be alive, man. Mao is still alive. Mao wasn't there, because of course he wasn't there. China doesn't really like North Korea very much. Back then or today, they're allies, and they have a mutual defense pact, but they're like... China never doesn't really respect North Korea very much. Again, back then and even to this day, like she still treats Un kind of like shit even now. But like Vlad treats Un well even now. It's a weird relationship. So like, Mao didn't really give a shit, and he didn't really say or do anything about the whole
busy
game.
with
He's
his
like,
fucking mangoes.
Yeah, he's just eating his 40 mangoes. He's like, oh hey, you lived, good job, buddy. And that was pretty much the extent of that.
His fifth starvation epidemic. Kim's was gonna come later on.
Yes. So. Speed up a little bit. Kim is like, okay, I love this guy. I'm gonna call Stalin my sugar daddy, and I'm dead serious. He said that. I'm not even making that. That's not even a bit. He referred to Stalin and also to an extent the CCP as his two sugar daddies, and he developed what's called sugar daddy diplomacy. And I'm not making this up. I even wrote down in my notes. I'm not kidding. So here's what happened.
Yes.
So here's what happened. Kim's like, okay, I asked them to help me rebuild my cities, and they just did it immediately. And he would call up Stalin, Daddy, can I have $50? And Stalin would be like, Kitten, we talked about this. I can't just give you $50. He's like, well, I mean, Chairman Mao was going to give me, like, 30, but, like, I kind of want to go to you first. And he's like, fine, I'll give you $50 And you just give him $50. And then he'd go to Mao and said, hey, Stalin just gave me $50. Can I have a little extra money there, Daddy? Daddy number 2. And so Mao would be like, I'm Daddy number 2, bitch. I'll give you $400. I want to be Daddy number 1. And then he got to Stalin and said, hey, Daddy number 1 just gave me like $400. Can I have like $450? And so
I need to buy a Switch 2 in Pocopia.
And so this is why North Korea was actually like legit for like a little while a really nice place to live, because he was just mooching money off of two really big superpowers. This is real. So here's the thing though. So remember how I mentioned that Mao didn't really like Kim that much, but he was still like, but he also was not too fond of Stalin, so he wanted to have a nice base. Like,
was Kim taking away his daddies? Is he like old news now? They're done with him.
Mao is still around. He's old, but he's still around. He's just an old daddy right now. If you're into that. So,
he's a silver fox. That's fox spelled F-A-U-X. We like to have a little fun here.
So
sometimes we talk about history and we have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, and sometimes we're funny. So here's what happened. After doing this for a while, Kim decided to get a little big for his britches. He's like, you know what I want to do? I want to make some movies. So he started directing himself a bunch of movies. They weren't very good because he wasn't a director. He was a fucking Soviet guerrilla fighter, all right? He's not a director. So they went to movies a shitload in like the 40s and 50s, but ultimately they didn't really go anywhere. However, he decided to swallow his pride and not direct a movie. Instead, he wrote the movie. He wrote a movie called The Flower Girl in the 70s. Now, you might have heard of this movie because it unironically won an Oscar. It is an actual award-winning film written by Kim Il-sung back in the 70s called The Flower Girl, which is about like Japanese imperialism and how it fucks up what it, like this normal like working class girl who sells flowers, right? And it was huge. It made a shitload of money in North Korea. They actually were like, we're gonna show this to the outside world and let people see how cool we are. And they won an award. They actually won a real ass award for the movie, and they never shut the fuck up about it. They still talk about it. Like if you live in North Korea, first off, how you listening? But also, if you live in North Korea, they have postage stamps with little like screenshots of the movie on the postage stamp. They're really proud of this one movie. They locked in this like, one time, and then it's never
like the
again.
Mongolian stamps that are just 15 different types of horse.
Yeah,
horse
much.
And flat plane.
So, Let's talk about some dirty things about Kim Il-sung. Not that I would ever insult
Dirtier
the
than his
eternal
two
president.
daddies.
Not that I would ever insult the eternal president, which is his official like title, by the way. He has like 30 titles, but that's like his big one, is the eternal president.
Eternal president.
Yes, because he calls himself the president, even though he's the chairman, even though he's also the presidium leader, even though he's also the grand secretary, and also
What is a
he has a lot of
presidium?
titles. Okay, but
Presidium
anyway.
leader sounds like a Mass Effect thing you get for like an early quest.
The presidium is just the council of commies. But anyway, one day Kim Il-sung is looking over the fucking fence again with his binoculars, getting angry again. He's looking out there. He sees South Korea. He's there angrily clicking his pen as he looks over at South Korea, not totally collapsing and becoming communist like him yet. He gets an idea. Daddy Stalin. You're like, what is it, kitten? Can I attack South Korea again? No, kitten, we talked about this. But Daddy, what if I did it like really stealthily and sneakily and just hit the capital in a blitzkrieg attack? In and out, done, 2-minute attack. Stalin's like, kitten, we talked about this. I'm not putting more Soviets down there. The Americans are getting way more involved right now, and like, we're so fucked if they go to war with us, man. I can't do this. They have missiles in fucking Turkey looking right at Moscow, man. He's like, but Daddy Mao said I could do it. He's like, bitch, fucking, look, man. Look, okay. Look. I'm willing to give you some goons to train your guys for the attack, but I'm not putting any of my Russians into South Korean soil, okay? He's like, I guess it's okay, Daddy. Closes the phone. Hey Mao, hey Daddy Mao, I want to attack South Korea. In and out, quick battle. Can I have some soldiers? Mao says, no, fuck off, dude, and hangs up immediately. So he goes like, okay. He didn't say he couldn't do the attack, though. So here's what he does. Kim rounds up 31 super elite commandos. And he's like, here's the plan. Boys, I want you to raid the Blue House. Now, the Blue House is the White House equivalent, as I mentioned earlier.
Is that the one that the bear lives in? We like to have fun here. You know, sometimes we like to laugh a little.
Yes. So, if you were to look at a map of North Korea, I should have a map of Korea. I would get that for you so you can make this section a little easier for you to understand.
Yeah. By the way, if you're wondering how big North Korea is, it's about the size of Pennsylvania. Just letting you know, that's the threat level we're dealing with. A Pennsylvania.
Okay, so this is a little hard to read, but it's off Google Images. All you really need to know is you got to look at two things.
I
You look
swear
at
to God,
Pyongyang.
it's got daddy shit written on it. Okay, it's a real map.
You have to look at two things in bold letters. You see Pyongyang right there, and a little to the south you see Seoul, all right? Now, North Korea might be Seoul-less, we had to look over at Seoul. So, the border between North and South Korea is divided by a thing called the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone. After the Korean War, they just put a big fence on two sides, 2-mile stretch of shit tons of landmines, a bunch of outposts, and guys with binoculars looking at each other. They love their binoculars over there. Now, Kim's like, okay, Seoul is really close to the DMZ. You can probably already tell by how close the two capitals actually are in the grand scheme of things. Like,
yeah, that is not far.
Unironically, you could get past the DMZ and take a bus right to Seoul. It's right there. Now, you might be thinking, why did they put their capital so close to a big threatening area? Well, nobody thought the fucking Korean War was gonna, nobody thought the split was gonna last this long, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, nobody thought this was gonna be a permanent thing. So, down over in Seoul, they're just, doing everything. They just had another junta happen. Another fucking political coup happened, and now Pong is in charge. His name is fucking Pong. Pong is in charge, and he's like, I sure love being a corrupt, evil leader. I sure hope the North Korean commandos don't try to fucking kill me out of nowhere. So here come the North Korean commandos trying to kill him out of nowhere. Kim's like, okay, here's the plan. You guys are going to take these uniforms that we confiscated during the Korean War. You're going to go across the river, which is actually easier than you think, because, the river is mostly heavily guarded on their side, because they're the North Koreans. It's still guarded on the South Korean side, but, you know what I mean. One is clearly putting more effort into it than the other. North Koreans, you get past over here, swim across the river, boom, done. Now, immediately get naked, put on these new clothes. All right, done. You are now disguised as South Korean soldiers. I want you guys, all 31 of you, to go into a big fucking group, get onto a bus at once, and go down into the capital of Seoul. If they ask you what's going on, simply say you're from the 26th Division and we're on a military exercise. Don't ask questions. And here's the thing. That's not a terrible plan. What just happened in South Korea? That's right, another coup. There will be soldiers just kind of moving around in weird death balls, won't there be? So Kim's like, this is the perfect time to strike. So, here goes the plan. He throws in the 31 commandos over the river. They get there easily. Surprisingly, just very easily. They get over there, get all naked and shit, put on their fucking goddamn South Korean uniforms, and they just walk down the road in a big fucking death ball of 31 super armed commandos just walking down the fucking highway in South Korea.
Just goose stepping. Now,
they're not goose stepping, they're regular walking, but that's still like, you don't just see that and call it a day, right? So here's the guy who saw it and called it a day. The bus driver. The bus driver comes by at the bus stop across the DMZ because there's a bus stop really nearby for some fucking reason. So
you can cross it, maybe.
Point of view. You're the bus driver. You're driving down the road. You look to the bus stop to your right. There are 31 heavily armored, dressed up South Korean soldiers just standing by the bus stop in order. You're like, uh-huh. You drive up, you open the door, you're like, hey boys, what's up? You looking for a ride? The South Koreans are like, hello. The South Korean soldiers in air quotes are like, hello, fellow South Korean citizen. We are looking to get to Seoul. We're doing a military exercise. We are from the 26th Division. Now here's a little trick about North and South Korea, and this is before even the split. North Korea has an accent because countries just have accents when they're big, right?
Yeah. So it's such a large area. Yeah.
Now. He's not speaking North Korean accent, but he's very clearly talking like a guy trying to hide his northern accent. So he's talking kind of weird.
And he's like, hey, howdy, y'all. How you doing today?
Howdy, sir. We are looking to go to Seoul. And it's like,
literally, Alex, they're literally doing Burger King foot fungus.
Yeah, pretty much.
The last thing you want in your North Korean defectors is 31 super soldiers in the big blue house. But just what you might not know, that's what you're gonna get.
That might be what you get. So the bus driver lets him on because what's he gonna fucking do? Drive away? They have guns. He lets him on, but he's like immediately suspicious. He's like, uh-huh. He's like, so you guys going to Seoul? I'm like, yes, sir. We are going to Seoul. We are from the 26th Division, and we are doing a military exercise. He says it the exact same way like a second time. The bus driver, noticeably upset, is like, uh-huh. So he drives him to Seoul, but the minute they all get off, all just one big group, he immediately calls up the police. He's like, hey, there's like 31 dressed up soldiers just like in the city. Like they wanted like a bus ride all at once. Like, is that like okay? But the police are surprising. They're like, I mean, yeah, probably the fucking new Supreme Leader Pong is probably just doing some military bullshit. Just let them do their thing,
The
dude.
police being lazy and not doing their job. I thought you said it was surprising, Alex. Oh, whoa, hey, Alex. Like I said, we like to have a little bit of fun here. Did you know that there's a town in North Korea called Ungi? I thought that was kind of fun. I'm gonna take another sip of my liquid death here, buddy.
Okay, so. They walk in one big group completely in the open because I guess they're just
cube.
They're
standing on top of each other.
Well, remember, there's 31, so it's a big cube, and there's like one guy slightly outside of the cube. so they're just marching up to the fucking blue house. They just go up to the main presidential place all at once. They walk up, they go to the gate, hold up their badge, and they get let in. Because it is actually because they confiscated it during the war. It is a real badge, so they do manage to get in. However, the guard, because there's a gate and then there's a door. So you go to the gate, and the guard, who's just the one guard sitting at the door, he looks him up and down, he's like, hey guys, what's up? And I'm like, hello, sir. We're from the 26th Division. President, Supreme Leader, Ultimate God King Pong wants us to do a military exercise. We really need to get inside the building. May you let us in? He goes like, I mean, I guess. I haven't heard of it. He's like, well, it's because the secret assignment. We're sorry about this. Here's our badge and our documents. He's like, he holds him. He's like, I mean, it's a real badge. I mean, I guess. Now, he goes over. Yeah, time slows down now. He reaches over in slow motion.
You gotta do it in the Disco Elysium voice.
Time slows. He grabs his little radio on his little chest pocket. He picks it up and he looks at the bed. He's like, "Hey guys, we have a couple dudes from the 26th Division here." And his eyes look down as he's talking because he's just wandering. And he sees
Alex, electrochemistry. His eyes look down while he's talking. This is the man high on meth Gatorade.
No, he sees something else. They're boots. You see, they're in South Korean uniforms, but they're not wearing American-grade military combat boots. They're wearing big black rubber boots from the Soviet Union. They didn't change their shoes. So he goes, and as he's talking, he sees the boots, and again,
that was Suave Far, by the way, that noticed that. He noticed that their fucking Nikes were dog shit.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, we have some guy. He looks down. We got some guys here. Where's the North Koreans? Oh shit! And then they go, fuck. The fucking one of the guys pulls out a gun and blasts the guard right there, all in the span of like 10 seconds. They just shoot this guy and kill him. Then, but he already got the alarm out, and they obviously people heard the gunshot. They go, oh shit! So firefight breaks out. The 31 Commandos pull out their fucking guns, which are like Russian AKs, and they just start fucking blasting. Because what they didn't realize is that, the guard is dead, but then a guy jumps out the fucking window to the right and starts blasting. 3 other guys come out of the fucking bush and start blasting. There were guards everywhere because it's a military junta. They were ready for specifically some bullshit like this happening from North Korea. So a huge firefight breaks between the 31 Commandos and like the 40 fucking guards here. And they're just blasting everywhere. The cops pull up with their fucking handguns and they start blasting. And hundreds fucking die. Surprisingly, the North Koreans do kill a lot more than they lose because there's just less of them, right? They killed like 40 goddamn dudes.
Well, you gotta think of it too. You ain't coming back empty-handed. Like, you're gonna need a body count, or you're gonna be part of the body count.
Yeah, so they kick down the door, they're running in there blasting, but I was gonna say unfortunately, but they don't make it. They all get gunned down before they can get to President Pong's fucking chambers of evil and take him out. They get stopped. 2 guys live this encounter somehow, and the South Koreans immediately grab them, slap the shit out of them, and go like, what the fuck were you fuckers doing? How did you do any of this? Now, the first guy says, I ain't telling you South Koreans nothing. They slap him. I still ain't telling you nothing. They slap him again. Now I'm still not telling you shit. So they go to the next guy, and they just slap him once, and he immediately spills the fucking beans. And he's like, okay, look, we're the 31 Commandos, and I basically just tell you the whole story that I just told you right now. He tells the whole story, right? So the general is like, oh my fucking god, those South Koreans fucking did it again. Oh, those North Koreans did it again. Those fucking cunts. They really wanted, the war wasn't enough. They really just tried to assassinate the guy named Supreme Evil Lord of Cool. Well, guess we just had to fight him again, huh? So, the general at the time, General Lang, or whatever the fuck his name was, we call him Lang, that's from Mulan, by the way. The general is like, okay, I have an idea. I want to hit those North Koreans where it hurts. How about we get a revenge strike? We get 31 super soldiers, right? The 31, because they had 31 commanders on us, we'll give them 31 super soldiers right back. We're going to go into Pyongyang, kill Kim Il-sung, and unite the Korean peninsula on our own then. Now, the President Pong is kind of okay with this idea. In fact, he likes this idea a lot. Yeah, let's do it. But another general shows up, and he's like, okay, I don't want to have 31 of my soldiers run out there and die. Now look at the map again, Tad. Seoul is a bus drive away from the DMZ. Pyongyang is really far into North Korea. You can't just go there like they can go to Seoul, right? Even if you want to get a guy past the river and past the DMZ, you're not getting back. You're effectively sending out 31 of your best guys to just die. The general didn't like that, but the other general had a plan. He's like, who said it had to be our best men? I have an idea. So here's how they get their super soldiers. They go to prison, and they just pick out 31 really violent, offenders who are on death row.
You're fucking with me. They did not Suicide Squad this shit.
Tad, they get a bunch of D-class personnel, and they're gonna train them to be super soldiers for the South Korean unification, baby.
This would be the coolest thing ever to just do with your bros. Just me and 30 bros.
31? 31 total. So, okay, here's what we do. 31 real scum, violent psychopaths. We're gonna go.
Aleks, this is like a modern day classrooms amount. This is a classroom amount of D-class personnel.
I know. Okay.
Wow.
So,
what is with this 30? Is that like a religiously important number? Or is it just because it's the exact same amount?
It's just the exact same amount. They're just gonna hit them. It's symbolically the same amount that they said at them, just to fuck with them. Now, do you see down there the Jew Strait and the island of Jeju?
Yeah, definitely.
So, down there on the map, it's literally the one island down there, because the other one's a Japanese island. The very Korean-sounding island.
I had to scroll it down. Now I see.
Yeah, Jeju. Okay, so down there in that island, they decide that we're going to do our training there. That way we can do it. They don't have to tell anybody. Just the general, the president, and the guys on the island know that this is the exercise we're going to do with our D-class suicide squad, all right? Now, you might be thinking, don't people live on the island? Yeah. So here's what they did. The Korean government came in there and just said, get the fuck off this island. It's South Korean government property now. They're like, what? We lived here our whole life. Get the fuck out of here! And they grab them and start shaking them and slapping them around and just force them out of their homes. They just throw everybody off of the island. They don't even give them an excuse. They don't even pay them either. They just throw them back onto the mainland.
That's fucked up.
It is fucked up, but they also just got attacked by North Korean commandos.
Like,
they're a little on edge.
Let's take a second and think about also how fucked up it is to just be like, we're gonna get 31 morons from prison and we're just gonna throw them into a meat grinder. Because, like, you ain't coming back after this mission. They'll be lucky if these... I don't know this story, and I'm still gonna say something I hope is not true. Now, how do they know these motherfuckers aren't just gonna defect once they find out you ain't gonna save them?
So anyway, as the story goes, so on the boat ride, immediately problems happen. You have 31 guys on a pretty small fucking boat, all just getting like
cubed up. One guy in a tiny little dinghy next to it.
Yeah, and they're like, make the fuck out of my way. Get the fuck out of my way. They start shoving each other. Now, the general immediately sees that these guys are getting rowdy, and he says, hey, listen up, you fucking queers. Because he's gotta be rude. It's the 70s. He's like, listen up, you little fucking queers. I'm gonna need you guys to immediately get to work on your goddamn training right goddamn now. One guy ballsily says, what are you gonna fucking do, make us? To which the general, without saying a word, pulls out a fucking grenade, undoes the pin, and throws it onto the deck in front of the guy who backtalked him. All the prisoners go, oh shit, and they fucking jump off the boat. And then he picks it up saying that he picks up the grenade saying, it was fake, you retards. Here's first part of your training. Swim to Jeju Island. I'll see you guys there. And so all 31 guys gotta swim the rest of the way to the island. So they swim to the island. They're tired. They're angry, but they're also pretty much fucking straight and cold and tired. So they're like, okay. Training begins. They immediately just put them to the fucking grinder. Every single training you're thinking of, like, you know, like in a military movie, like the really harsh stuff they dramatize, all of it's real. All of it happened to these guys. You know, the grids, the barbed wire, slapping around, torturing them.
They
all
got
of it just
rotoscoped and were doing hip flexor exercises.
Pretty much. They just had him doing everything.
That's one of them smiling friends. We make a lot of I'm done making stupid cartoon
I was literally
references.
going to get the gift for you. I was getting the gift for you. So they had
Alex,
the
the second
like
you said training camp, I thought of the fucking Schmorgooglians or whatever.
The Schmaloogles.
The Schmaloogles.
So they have the 31 Schmaloogly and up.
Fuck, I gotta cover that up. I could not have that on my screen.
No, this is what they're doing. So they're training them up and juicing them up, and they're not just doing that, they're propagandizing the fuck out of them. They're like, listen here, the South Koreans may have treated you like shit, but this is your chance at redemption. You do this mission, and you guys are getting not only your citizenship back and all of your fucking crimes like fucking just washed away, but you'll get a nice house, everything. You're gonna have everything in your life set. This is your opportunity to get back, but also get back good. And they get really fucking juiced up on this idea. They go from a bunch of rowdy prisoners to real ass, honest to God, super schmaloogles, okay? These guys are ready. Now, this took 4 years. A lot happens in 4 years. Namely, the South Koreans and North Koreans actually start getting along a little bit more. And things immediately get really awkward. And so, you might have heard of the great flood that happened in South Korea. A huge flood hit the country in like the 80s, and North Korea, out of nowhere, actually offered aid to South Korea, which they accepted, and North Korea actually did it. They actually did give a bunch of supplies to help them rebuild shit. That came out of fucking nowhere, and they're like, okay, hold on a minute. Maybe North Korea is actually not so bad. Hang on. Maybe Operation Kill Kim with a Brick is a bad idea. Maybe we shouldn't do that. And the general says, I have spent 4 years juicing these schmaloogles up for war. What do you mean you changed your mind? He's like, yeah, we're not gonna go with the plan anymore. Can you just get rid of them? The fuck you mean get rid of them? The President Pong says, and I'm dead serious, just kill them, dude. They're just prisoners. The general at this point actually does kind of like his schmaloogles. He's been with them for 4 years.
That's fucked, dude.
Yep, he actually says that. The general says, no, I'm not gonna do that. So Pong's like, okay, what if we just like, I don't know, just like stop sending supplies and we just kind of starve them out? And so the general's like, I don't want to fucking do that either. I don't want to fucking do that either. What? He's like, look, man, look. No one else in the country knows we just juiced up 31 prisoners into super schmalugals, okay? Nobody knows we did this. I know this, you know this, the guards on the island know this, and like the prisoners themselves know this. That's it. Like we go, like you guys I know aren't gonna say anything, but the prisoners are gonna fucking talk, dude. We can't just let them go back. He's like, but they're loyal. He's like, no, they're not. They're prisoners. I don't give a shit what you say. Then again, because the president wasn't there, he doesn't know, right? He doesn't know how loyal these guys have become, and so. They go back and forth, and the president's just like, look, look, we're just gonna starve them out, all right? That's the final fucking orders, all right? That's the humane way to do it. And he's like, fuck you mean humane way? And so, over the next like 2 months, they're getting less and less supplies, and the prisoners are getting kind of anxious. The prisoners get kind of antsy, and they ask one of the guards, like, hey, what's going on? Like, it feels like you guys are like pulling out more and more soldiers, like a ghost town here. Where's all the food and shit, man? And the guard, who is in on the plan, he caves because he likes these guys. He's been with them for 4 years. He just tells him, he's like, okay, look, I'm just gonna tell you the real thing. The South Korean government changed the plan on the mission. They want to get rid of you guys, but they don't want to they don't have the heart to kill you, so they're just gonna starve you out. The prisoners
like
go, what?
Pussies.
They go, what? Like I'm serious. This is all real. They're like, that's bullshit. The South Korean government loves us because they're being gassed from propaganda, right? They're like, they love us. They would never do this. It's like, look, man, I'm the guard. I'm telling you this. They're like, there's no way. They go to the general, and the general has a heavy head, and he says, it's all true. The prisoners understandably freak the fuck out at this revelation that pretty much the past 4 years of their life enduring the super schmalugal super training was for nothing. They were just gonna get killed off anyway. All of those
they weren't
promises
even
of a
gonna
better
get their
life
freedom for being willing to do it.
Yep. So they snap. They say, okay, if they want to get rid of us, we're going to make it real fucking hard for them. The prisoners are all, again, they're juiced up right now. They all, in a big mob, rush the fucking barracks, beat the shit out of the guard. They don't kill them, but they beat the shit out of the guards there and take all their guns. And there's a lot of guns there, because while they're pulling guys out, for whatever stupid fucking reason, they said they get the guns last. So all the guns are still there.
I genuinely wonder if, like, someone in charge there was also like that other guard, like, this is fucked up. No. And there's, like, doing clerical fuckery to leave stuff like that behind so that they have a fighting chance.
Possibly. That is 100% true. So, the prisoners get all these weapons, and, suspiciously, there's a single boat still there on the island. So your theory is probably right. So there's a single boat left. They all get on the boat and say, all right, boys, we're going to go to Seoul and we're going to get some fucking answers. Now, as you can see from the island, Seoul is actually very far away from the island. And they don't have enough fuel to just go around everything. They have to go right down into the south and just go and move their way up. So how are they going to do this, Tad? Simple.
Well, you see, what they're going to do is they're going to march in a cube and one formation, and they're going to get on a bus.
So anyway, they find a bus, right? So
God damn it!
They land on the fucking shore. They all have one big group. They got geared up. They walk on the street. These 31 heavily armed, dressed up soldiers just walking down the fucking highway, and a bus strolls up to them. Stops by and says, "Hey guys, you need a ride?" The South Koreans then go, "Get the fuck off the fucking bus!" And they fucking charge into the bus and throw everybody off of it. Now they have taken over an actual fucking bus. There are now 31 guys in essentially an armed convoy, and they are beelining for Seoul, and they are pissed off. So, here's what goes down. Now, it doesn't take long for, the guys to call up the police and go, "Hey, I just got robbed. My entire bus was just mugged by 31 goddamn super schmalugals."
I got bus mugged.
No. The police go, "What?" It's like, this is all real. I'm telling you the truth, man. He goes up and he goes up to Seoul and he calls them. Now Seoul is like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" They bring this up to President Pong. Pong says, "Oh, fuck." So he calls every goddamn police in the goddamn city and a couple cities over to stop these goddamn trained super schmalugals. Now, Ted, who do you think wins the fight? A bunch of cops or a bunch of 31 super schmalugals? So
screaming and waving. They brought the entire stockpile of guns with them. waving them outside the fucking windows.
What if I told you that everything you just said is actually real, and they did just have everything from the barracks in the bus, and they were just peeping out the windows, doing drive-bys on the cops as they were trying to chase them down.
Aleks,
all of this is real.
Like I said earlier, just imagine this in 30 of your bros. Your prison bros.
So. They're driving. Their guns are blazing. This is like a pretty long fucking drive, right? Because Seoul's really far away. So they're just doing this dumping. All this ammunition, but they have plenty because it's a whole fucking barrack stockpile of goddamn guns. And to be fair, not a lot of cops are really keen on getting shot right now.
Yeah,
so
if you saw the battle bus coming down the street, you ain't gonna stop that.
So here's what happens.
Wrapped in fucking barbed wire, like the one from that
cops up
zombie
front
movie.
do the old classic. They put down the cattle traps or whatever to pop the tires. This does nothing to deter the fucking super soldiers who just keep driving on the now popped tires.
Yeah.
They're
oh damn, guys,
pissed.
we got a pop tire. We got to go back to the island.
yeah, they just keep driving. Now they are slowing down so the cops can catch up to the battle bus because I guess this is just like the fastest bus in South Korea. I read this story and they said the cops are having trouble keeping up with them. I'm like, how the fuck? It's a bus.
They
But
don't
also,
go
to be
that
fair,
fast.
Also, to be fair, they're probably purposely driving kind of far away from it to not get fucking shot. That's how I read that.
The problem is, Aleks, there's just like 8 trails of barbed wire dragging behind this bus now. You can't get it. It's going like 10 miles an hour, but like you can't run up. There's a lot of barbed wire there.
So eventually, a bunch of cops do get in front of the bus and start blasting their own guns at them in a highway fucking shootout for the fucking ages. Everything I'm describing is happening in like the span of like 10 entire minutes, but it's a really action-packed 10 minutes, right? So
yeah,
all the
nuts.
all the guns are being exchanged right now. Eventually, they're able to shoot the bus in the front enough to hit the engine or radio, or whatever the fuck it was, and the bus stalls. They go, fuck! They drive it off and they swerve it to the side to act as cover. Now the cops all drive up to their own side, make up, cops will like get in their cars and use them as like cover with their doors and shit. The cops pull up, swing by, put up their cover and barricades, and they start unloading. A little do they know that the super soldiers have, I guess, the biggest and sturdiest bus in the goddamn Korean peninsula, because now that bus is just a fucking bunker with a fuckload of guns and ammo stocked up inside of it, and a really long firefight. And when I say really long, it's like 5 minutes, but like that in gunfight terms, that's a long time.
5 minutes of sustained fire is that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot, okay? And they're blasting and blasting and blasting. Now, eventually, one guy throws a grenade out and hits the cops with it. Another guy throws another grenade out. However, one grenade doesn't go off. A cop sees this and says, "This is my opportunity." He runs over, sees that the grenade still had its like pin in it or whatever, because it's panic. They just threw it, right? He gets it whilst getting shot himself a few times in both the arms and legs. He's getting blasted, takes the grenade, undoes the pin, and throws it into the bus. Miraculously lands inside the window and blows up the bus and all the ammunition that was stocked in the center of it, all to sky high, killing literally all of the super soldiers besides, miraculously, 2 guys like in the 31 Commandos who survived. So they go in there, after everything explodes and is on fire and cools off, the cops like very cautiously approach the bus to see if like everyone's dead in there. They get the 2 survivors who are like burnt up and shit, and they drag them away and arrest them. Now, at this point, you can't just cover the story up anymore. 31 super schmaloogles just like went on a fucking 10-minute long shooting spree down a really, really busy highway. Because there are other cars
not to
seeing
mention
all this happening.
every police officer that got killed or shot. Those are still your South Korean citizens.
Yeah, so the story breaks, and everyone collectively loses their shit. They're like, you were gonna do what? And North Korea hears about this too and says, you were gonna do what? Even we're kind of surprised by this. What the fuck is wrong with you? So this does become a movie. This is actually a pretty popular movie in South Korea because it's just like how does this not become a movie? Look at this. Look at all of this. So all of this goes down. President Pong would end up stepping down from this because, well, everyone knew he wanted to just kill these 31 guys after promising them a better life. So, he kind of just had to. And a new guy takes over. Now, Kim Il-sung sees all of this. He's reading it in his like newspaper. He's like, what the fuck, man?
He's drinking his liquid death, slightly different than mine. Spits it out while reading.
He then writes a really smug note and says, pitiful savages, South Koreans. We in the North would never do something like this. To which South Korea said, you sent 31 commandos at us. To which he says, nuh-uh. So anyway, that's how Kim Il-sung reacted to that. So
he enacted the nuh-uh principle.
Nuh-uh. So that all went down, but unfortunately, even with the 31 super soldiers, the border still hasn't changed. After all, we're still stuck the way we are. While this was crazy and chaotic, it's still North and South Korea, right? Well, what do we do now? Okay, so tensions are a little high. Maybe we're a little over the top. What if we, like, calm down a little bit? Hey, North Korea, do you guys want to, like, make a little town and, like, have North and South people visit there as, like, a neutral zone? North Korea actually says, you know what? Yeah, it's not a terrible idea. Let's do that. So they set up a little vacation house.
Okay, they seem reasonable right now.
Yeah. They set up a little mountain. It's actually over in the North Korean side, too, because it's North Korea is very mountainous, and it's actually very beautiful. So they make like a nice little village there for everyone to come down there as a vacation spot. Now, North Korea likes this idea because, one, they get to spread the propaganda and show the South how cool they are, but also, they get some much-needed foreign currency. Because, you see, North Korea can't really trade with a lot of the big countries that have good currency. Like, what can they trade with? Like, Russia, China, that's pretty much it. But when also they're trading that currency, they can only trade their own money. And what is Russia and China going to need North Korean funny bucks for? They can only use that in North Korea, right? It's pretty much a useless ass currency. So they need the South Korean money, they need this American money, and they need all this other money to pour in to fund their bullshit, right? So they make a little tourist destination, and it actually goes pretty well. Everyone kind of likes it. And here's the sad part about the whole split. Like, when everyone's getting there reuniting, there are lost and split up families that get reunited too. Because think about it, you might have sought shelter during either of the fucking wars, and you might have just picked the wrong side. Now you haven't seen your cousin in fucking 20 years, right?
Yeah, your brother is just on the other side of the border, you know.
So everything goes well until it doesn't. So spoilers, it's on the North Korean side. So what happens is
this going to involve, I'm going to make another precognition. Is this going to involve another fucking grenade?
No, it does not involve a grenade, nor does that involve 31 super soldiers this time. We are done with that arc. So at this point,
32.
An old lady has a confrontation with a couple of North Korean soldiers. The lady is then fucking shot and killed, and tensions fucking immediately erupt. Because they go like, okay, what the fuck was she doing for you to just shoot her like this? The North Koreans said she was overstepping her bounds and seeing secretive things across the side of the border that she was not allowed to have seen. We asked nicely for her to step away. We politely, then firmly said to step away. She refused, she got irritated, and shots were fired. Now, immediate autopsy shows that she was shot from behind rather than forward, so that probably is not what happened. But North Koreans said, nuh-uh, and so tensions immediately, the case went nowhere, and so everyone got pissed off and pretty much stopped going to the town, and North Korea quietly closed the border and just assimilated the town back into its own borders and just turned it into another base. So, unfortunately, the peace thing didn't go very well. So. This is at the end of Kim Il-sung's life. Kim Il-sung's getting old, and he's kind of slowing down and getting kind of sick. Now, he knows that he can't do this shit anymore. He's not going to be able to live and see either a peaceful or forceful reunification of the border of the peninsula. Neither of these plans have worked out. I'm going to leave everything to my son instead. Now, this is where we get to Kim Jong-il, a.k.a. the second guy. He's the guy who wears the glasses. Now, this is going to sound the stupidest thing, but because he's not really as well known as the other two, because he didn't rule for very long, spoilers, but also, you have seen him. I know I'm really stupid with this, but Tad, I know for a fact you've seen Team America World Police, right?
I have. That documentary.
The little dictator guy singing the So Lonely song, that's Kim Jong-il, it's that guy. He's the one with the gray outfit, the weird fucking shitty-looking haircut, and the glasses. That's Kim Jong-il. So, Il takes over. Now, this is 1994. That's when Sun finally died, and Il took over everything, right? Now, what happened in 1991 for those eagle-eared listeners? The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Now, how is North Korea staying afloat again? Oh yeah, they were mooching off of two superpowers. Not the Soviet Union collapsed.
Not their superpowers, their daddies.
Yeah, they're two daddies. One of their daddies just bellied up and died. And they go to their other daddy to ask for money. To which he says, "Well, I don't need to impress the other daddy anymore, so fuck you. I don't fucking need to give you shit. Fuck off, North Korea." They go, "Uh-oh." So this is where it happens. We call the Arduous March.
Kim Jong-tim goes, "Uh-oh."
So they now don't have a way to really get a lot of food, but more importantly, they don't have enough oil anymore because they can't get oil from anybody. Because who the fuck wants to trade with North Korea? They don't have any currency. Now, Stalin, Khrushchev, and Brezhnev, they were all giving North Korea what is called friendship benefits. Not those kinds, you dirty boy. They were giving them friendship benefits as essentially giving them oil for basically pennies. But now that it's the regular Russia, no longer the USSR, they're like, okay, we can't just keep giving you this shit away for you for basically free. You're gonna need to give us like regular money. We'll still take North Korean dollars because we like you, but like you got to give us like real money now, like actual amounts. To which North Korea says,
"Oh God, they're just gonna print $1 trillion bills."
No, North Korea just says, "Uh-oh, well, we're fucked." They don't even do that part. They just kind of give up. So they go, "Well, hold on. We still have enough fuel to make," because North Korea actually can sustain itself agriculturally as long as it has oil for their tractors to mass produce rice, which is actually a very obscure fact because a lot of misinformation. This is gonna sound so weird if I'm batting for North Korea here, but this is actually true information. North Korea's farmlands are arable enough because the country, as you said, the size of Pennsylvania, and it only has like 20 million people in it. Like, it's actually not that difficult to make enough rice to feed everybody. It's that they need to use mass farming techniques to do so, and if they don't have oil to power their fucking farming machines, then they can't. You can't. There's not enough oxen and cows to fucking plow enough fields for that, right? Which is what they're currently doing.
You're a mountainous region too, so I mean, oxes and all that aren't super efficient in those kind of environments.
Exactly.
They're going to transport them too. How the fuck are you going to get them there? Oh,
yeah,
you're going to take a road?
Exactly.
What road?
Yeah, what road? Exactly. So like now they no longer have their cheap oil coming in. Their tractors are going to run out, and more importantly, their storages of food are going to run out. So they're like, okay, Kim, things are looking kind of bad right now. We might be kind of fucked. We have some for a few years now. What do we do? Kim Jong-il goes, I have an idea. Do you remember that thing my father talked about? That thing called Juche? And the commander's like, "You're talking about Juche, right? You mean that thing?" "Oh yeah, that thing that was written by Huang and not my father, but we secretly credit my father for inventing it anyway? Yeah, that thing. Let's bring Juche back." So, side tangent.
Juche's coming back, baby.
So, side tangent, Juche. What is Juche? It's very important, and it honestly is shocking it took me an hour to talk about it here. But Juche is an ideology and philosophical thing. I don't even really know. I can't even call it philosophical. Basically, it is essentially saying that, like, man is the master of everything. People are the masters of everything, and they decide everything. Okay, so once the Union collapses, okay, they don't want to be Marxists anymore. But they also still want to hang on to socialist iconography and ideals because they've been doing this whole time. They no longer need to kiss, Stalin's ass. Well, they don't need to kiss the USSR's ass because, well, they're gone, right? So now we can kind of do our own thing. So Juche is like a twist of it, where instead of being like, all the people are together, working in a harmlessly thing, now it's all the people are the masters of one thing. This one country is one unit. The leader is the brain. The government officials are the organs, and while all the other people are the bones and the muscle. We all need each other to survive and work together as one harmonious unit. Because if a brain has no body, well, then it's just a lump of flesh. But if the organs have no bones to support themselves, they're just a pile of garbage. And if there are bones there without any meat or brain, it's just a skeleton, right? That's the idea. Juche is effectively really malleable and flexible, where they can say it is this thing where we all work together in the self-reliant, harmonious body, but also the supreme leader is the most important person, and he's the brain, he's the most important organ, he must do what he says no matter what. You are the master of everything, but he's the master-er of everything-er.
It sounds like they're taking all the quote-unquote best parts of communism and just codifying it into the culture of North Korea. It is.
Kinda, yeah.
You grow up believing this. This is the part of it. It's like if Christianity also included, also your president has like a huge penis and is super cool, and like doesn't like hang out on that island. He hangs out on other cool islands that you're also not invited to.
Yeah. Well, Taylor, are you mad about the island, or you just mad you weren't invited?
So Juche, yeah.
I'm gonna triple, quadruple down on Juche. Now, if we can't make enough food for the quotas, you just weren't Jucheing hard enough. And if we made enough, that means Juche was working successfully. Juche is never at fault, we just weren't Jucheing harder. Now, this surprisingly fucking works. So throughout what is called the Arduous March, or as we call it, the Great Famine of the 90s, where millions starved to death and just fucking collapsed. North Korea says
millions. Oh my god,
millions just up and die because they can't get any goddamn food because the USSR ain't giving them any anymore. They go, you're just not Jucheing hard enough. Could you please Juche a little harder? So this doesn't go super well for a lot of people. I said it went really well. I'm saying the fact that the country is still alive. However, many people say okay, I'm just gonna fucking leave, man. And that's where a lot of defectors actually come from. They come from the 90s during the Arduous March. Because what was their option? Sit here and starve or get shot going across the river, right?
Man, so, yeah, that would be probably your best time to do it before they had all this other, surveillance stuff going on.
Yes. Well, this is where all of that comes from. You see, in the 90s, we're now going to pivot into what is called the escapes. Now, escaping from North Korea, not that you would ever want to, is pretty
remember
difficult.
too, in the 90s, what just happened? The fucking Berlin Wall came down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot of the communist stuff was just on its way out here, and it was not looking good over here either. They all thought that North Korea dropping was
stuff like that
well.
can be communicated through radio. You can't keep all information out.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing about escaping from North Korea. If we're talking about this from the starvation, one of the hardest things about escaping from North Korea is not actually escaping. This is gonna sound really kind of fucked up, but it's gonna make total sense. The hardest thing about escaping is knowing you even can. Just think about it. You're not really told about the outside world. You don't really know what's past the river. You're told everything sucks even worse out there, and a lot of people believe that. Some people take the gamble that maybe they're lying and maybe there is food out there. And some people go for it, but a lot of people just sit around because they just think everything's hopeless, right? Mm-hmm. So you have multiple.
If you grow up your entire life and everyone you talk to and every single person you've ever interacted with tells you, yeah, no, dude, like right below Mexico, like South America, that place is just like nuked out, man. It's just barren. I wouldn't know, right?
Because you don't have internet. This is also this is 90s North Korea. You don't have any internet. You can't call anybody outside. You don't know. You have to take their word for it.
When the fuck in the 90s? When the fuck did you last hear about Venezuela if you're in goddamn North Korea? Yeah,
exactly. You just gotta take their word for it. What are you gonna go to the library? It's all North Korean books, right? Like you're just gonna take their word for it.
Like know countries exist. They know America exists. Pamphlets would have been dropped over. Things like they know it exists, but their version of what it is maybe a little bit different. Or maybe it's not. Think about that.
Several propaganda films Several North Korean propaganda films depict us as being controlled by a bunch of evil hooked-nosed vampires. I'm dead serious about that. I'm not even making that up. That is actually in several movies. That is, I'm not, you can look that up. Look it up. It's real. It's all real. All true. They do just say that.
Something really funny about Chinese movies is all their military movies. They have like Douglas MacArthur is like a reoccurring bad guy. It's pretty great. So there's like AI videos of people putting him into horror movies and shit. It's great.
It's fucked up because in America we're not even really taught about Douglas MacArthur. He's just kind of like a guy. We don't really know him that well over here. So escaping. Now there are several avenues of escaping. In the 90s, it was slightly easier. Emphasis on the word slightly. You have a couple options. One, you go across the border to China. There's a really big river down there. You've seen it because I know you watched that one guy's video where he was looking across the river and looking at the South Koreans, the North Koreans with a telescope, with like a pair of binoculars. Now you've seen it. Aleks, you can't just swim the river, right?
Now, Aleks, when does the theme park get built so you can take the slide and go wee right across the river? When does that become a valid option?
That comes pretty soon, actually, because you see in the 90s. Many of North Koreans were escaping, and they were telling these horrible stories. So Kim Il-sung was like, okay, we gotta get our image up a little bit. Let's put like some nice things specifically around the border so people can see them. All these nice like water parks that like make us not look like
so
shit.
people can see them.
I'm serious. It's real. Why do you think there's specifically a hotel and a nice looking colorful amusement park right on the fucking river by the border to China where other people can see it? That's why it's there.
It's just like I don't know. It's like a child's understanding of the world, Alex. If I put this here, they're not going to be able to look past this or see any of the other inky stuff.
So escape. We'll get to. I want to get to the globe because the globe has a really funny story to it that you're gonna love. So the globe in air quotes. So you're starving. You just learned you can get out of North Korea, and now you want to. How do you do that? Well, you have a guard. You have a nanny. You have like your council of fucking neighbors you have to talk to because you're a communist. Well, communist in air quote. Yeah. You have a council of stitches who will get stitches. How do you get the fuck out of here? Well, you see, there are a couple villages that are on like the river, kind of. Namely around kind of like the left side over there, that you can kind of still go across. Now, the North Korean guards actually do allow you to go to the river to get like water and stuff, because there's not a lot of running water in North Korea after a while. Because like at this point, because the Ardous March is happening, we're running out of shit. We're just gonna have to get water from the river like fucking savages, right? Yeah,
you would have to mow people down if you were gonna stop them from getting water from that water source.
Yeah. So they allow you to go there. They're not that stupid. They let you go there. They just want make sure you don't book it, and they call it a day, right? Now, what happens if I booked it though? What if I just fucking swam? Now, they're told to shoot on sight if you start making a run for it, but a lot of North Korean guards won't do that, and not because they're compassionate. I'm sure some are, but they also have other orders of. Don't waste ammunition, man. If you can't make the shot, don't even fucking bother. Because they're underwater. Shit. They're underwater, right? Like, what are you gonna do? Should just like magged up into the river and hope you get the guy? You're gonna get in more trouble because like theoretically, if you hit
just
him,
wasting 10 bullets on him, you know.
10. You probably like I said,
magged up.
Let's say yeah. So like. You're like, oh, fuck, man. Because, like, again, they can't get ammo. Because they're getting it from the fucking Union. The Union's gone, dude. They're panicking right now. So, like, here's what you do. You go to a guard and say, like, here's $10, look the other way. And he's like, okay. And he looks the other way, and you just fucking swim. You just fucking go for it. And there you go. You made it into China. Now that you're in China, it's not over yet. Because the thing is, getting to China is just step one. You see, North Korea and China actually have a mutual defense pact I talked about, but they also have another deal. North Korea said, like, hey, just send any fucking runaways back to us if you catch them, all right? Thanks. And China's like, yeah, okay, sure. So, because they're technically illegal immigrants, so China just doesn't want them there anyway. So it's like, yeah, fuck it, we'll just give them back, right? So, what you gotta do is when you get to China, you have to be like, okay, am I fluent in Chinese? Obviously not. I'm a North Korean citizen. They didn't teach me other languages. I gotta not look shifty as fuck. I have to somehow get out of China and into South Korea, or more importantly, probably get to Mongolia, because Mongolia actually has a pact with South Korea that if any North Korean can make it to Mongolia and get to Ulaanbaatar, whatever the fuck you say their capital, if they get to the capital, they just ship you out to South Korea. No questions asked. They just do it for you. But like that's a really big journey. It's
Mongolia
an easy journey.
Is like you have to go through. You have to like go to the desert, bro. You gotta go through China to the desert.
Yeah, so it's again not easy. So there are several stories about how this goes down. Iconically, there's a story of two political officials in Kim Jong-il's circle who decided to go like, okay, we know how bad it is. I want to get the fuck out of here, man. Now I'm going to slightly tell their story. It's not too long, but it's also a good look at how a more well-off guy gets out of the country. So, these two guys, we'll call them Jim and Tim. Jim and Tim. Jim's like, okay, Tim, are you ready? I've got like, $2,000. I got a guy on the outside, because now these guys are actually allowed to have phones and talk to people, so they actually can get in contact a little easier. Like, okay, I got a guy. We got a point. I got money. I got clothes. I got some books. All right, are you ready? Tim's like, all right, I'm ready. They go to the border near the river. Now, the best time to cross the river is not during the summer and swimming it, because fucking course it's not. It's to actually go during the winter when it's frozen and just fucking book it across. So, they go up to the north, in the north of to the river. And there's a guard there. He's like, hey, what are you two guys doing out here? Now, they're like, oh, hey there, comrade. Oh, we're just, doing some stuff for Pyongyang. He's like, you're doing stuff for Pyongyang by the Yalu River. And look, it's Chinese. I'm trying my best here, okay?
Yeah.
You're on the river in the middle of winter, prime escape season, just up with a big suitcase right here for Pyongyang. He's like, yes. In fact, bam! I have the paperwork right here for it. The guard goes, wait, actually? He grabs the paperwork. He's like, huh. Okay. Yeah, okay, Mr. Jim. Looks like I had you wrong. All right. Get your badge with you? He's like, of course. Bam. He pulls out his badge, and he's like, okay, can I ask my supervisor? Now, Jim starts sweating a little bit. He's like, oh, what should you ask your supervisor for? Is my word good enough? He's like, I mean, yeah, but like just in case, man, I just want to make sure. He's like, yes, question mark? Jim's a little nervous right now. He thought the paperwork and badge would be enough. The guard calls up his commanding officer, but luckily, because of all the shortages, the phone line wasn't working, and the commander doesn't pick up. So he goes, all right, I guess you're good to go, man, but it's kind of cold. You want to, like, get a drink before you go or so? Do you think around the river, man? He's like, sure? Because they don't want to just say no and then book it, right? The eyes are on them. So they walk with the guard to the guard tower. They say hi to the commanding officer who didn't pick up the phone. Now, they say, hey, we're two, dressed up guys with nice suitcases from Pyongyang doing all the way out here. He's like, oh, hey, commanding officer. Yeah, they're doing some bullshit for Pyongyang. Here's the paperwork. He's like, uh-huh. Yeah, all right, looks pretty good. Let me call up Pyongyang real quick just to make doubly sure. And as he's calling the phone, Jim and Tim are sitting there, like, they have a smile on their face, but they're sweating like fucking crazy. Because they didn't think that they, quote, didn't think this far ahead. They legit thought the paper and badge was going to be enough. This was already going wrong. Guard calls him up, the commander calls him up. The phone line wasn't working again. And he goes, all right, well, I guess I'll just call him tomorrow then, whatever. Hey, well, since you guys are here, you guys want some, like, vodka or something? Like, yeah, okay, sure.
Some fine Russian vodka.
So, they're just sitting here, shooting the shit and having a good time. Night comes, and they all go to sleep, and specifically, Jim and Tim wake up really early and go, okay, we gotta get the fuck out of here, man. Wait, it's too fucking hot here, man. So they leave, they look to the left, look to the right, and they just book it across the river. Now, the guard woke up with them, goes, hey, what are you guys doing halfway across the river? They stop and say, nothing? To which he says, you traitors! He pulls out his gun and he starts firing. Jim and Tim go, fuck! And they just fucking book it. Now, luckily, they don't get shot. They make it across the river and they're into China. Now, officially, North Korea can't touch them, but Chinese authorities can. So North Korea immediately informs, like, hey, two, like, really high-class serial killers just entered your country. They just lie, right? China goes, wait, like, actually? Like, oh, yeah, these guys are real bad. Like, fuck, we gotta get these guys. So, Jim and Tim are like, okay. Now, I was told by our guy that we gotta get on a bus over here at this bus stop, because there's always a bus with these fucking people. Get into a bus, not with 31 super soldiers, and we gotta go down to this town over here that has a lot of Koreans in it because it's near the border, and we can kind of hide out there and get to South Korea after that. Like, okay, let's do that. Now they get into the bus.
Let's go to the one place we know for a fact they're gonna check.
Again, they didn't think this through too much, okay? So
they'll never look for us Koreans in little Korean town. They're gonna be looking for soldiers. They gotta start dressing up like Aleks. They're gonna fucking steal the homeless man's clothes, aren't they?
So you're on the right ballpark. So here's what happens. So
they're gonna be professional baseball players here to play for the Mongolian deathworms.
They meet up with their guy. The guy is like, are you the two Koreans? He's like, yes. He looks at me, he's like, dude, what the fuck are you wearing? He's like, what, these? These are our nice, expensive clothes. He's like, yeah, I see that. Why the fuck are you in nice, expensive clothes? I can immediately tell you're not from here. So he pulls out his shitty, raggedy homeless man clothes and gives them to the two guys. And they're like, okay, shit, all right, whatever. He's like, all right, here's how this goes. I've done this a couple times already because you guys are all starving and getting out of here. Now, we're going to get on this bus. Now, we might stop by a checkpoint. Hell, we might stop by even two. Legally speaking, the Chinese guards have to come up here and check the bus for North Koreans and send them back. The guys get fucking nervous. So, they're going to get checked? They're going to get checked? He's like, listen, just play it cool. In fact, It's gonna be easy for you guys. When a North Korean gets over here, they're usually skinny, hungry, and scared. But you guys look well dressed and kind of clean. I think you guys are gonna be fine. There's your little hoodies. We're gonna get on the bus. Keep your heads down, pretend you're asleep, and I'll do all the talking, alright? Capiche? Alright. So they get on the bus, and they do exactly as he says. Now, they pass by a checkpoint. The guards are kind of lazy. They get on the bus, kind of just look over and go like, yeah, okay, whatever, and they get off the bus. 'Cause to them it's routine, and a lot of the guards personally don't even like really want to send North Koreans back. There's a little fun fact for you. A lot of them don't feel kind of bad about it, so they just kind of do a little their job as minimal as possible and leave. However, there's a second checkpoint on the way to Little Koreatown, and these guards give a little bit more of a shit. So they get on the bus.
Only because they're probably closer to it. They're like, hey man, what the fuck?
Yeah, so they get on the bus and they're like, okay, let's like actually do our jobs. They start walking down the aisle. Jim and Tim start getting sweaty again. Fucking John, their guy, is like, don't worry, play it cool. Because he speaks Chinese, so he's fine. They walk up, they look down, like, They step by the suspiciously clean-looking two guys who are like, pretending to be asleep. They look over to him, we go over to John, and John just, he's kicked back, has his arms around both seats, leg over his other leg, just like chilling. He's like, hey, what's up? They're like, what are you doing out here? So he's like, oh, I'm just heading out to Little Koreatown. I got some family there. He's like, he looks to John, looks to the two dudes, looks back. He goes, okay, and he leaves. They get away with it. He just rolls with it.
And they got away with it.
Now, everything's going well so far. What could possibly go wrong? Well, you see, if I was North Korea, I would immediately check into Little Koreatown for my two high-class escapees. So immediately upon they get there, John's like, all right, guys, you're here. You're good to go. Have fun on your little venture. Get into South Korea. But, his plan was just get them to this point, right? That's all, and then now it's on them to do the rest of the work.
Yep.
Like, okay, let's get walking. So they get walking, they hang out, talk to some people in Little Koreatown, and they learn very quickly that people don't really like the North Koreans in Little Koreatown, because here's the thing, the people have been living in this Koreatown, before the war, before the split. These are just guys who've just lived here for a while, right? But every Korean that comes to the town now is a North Korean escapee for the past decade because of the arduous march. And they get kind of sick of it because the guards keep hanging out here, making their lives a little worse. So when Jim and Tim go up and like, hello there, we're looking to get to South Korea, they go, oh my fucking god, oh my god, not fucking another one, man. Oh. And they go, okay, look, talk to this guy over here, talk to fucking Terry downtown, he'll get you where you need to go. So they go to Terry. Terry's like, you guys look pretty wealthy. You guys got any money to get to South Korea? He's like, yeah, I got a couple thousand, North Korean dollars. He's like, do you got non-North Korean dollars? He's like, I got 100 regular, American dollars. He's like, yeah, I guess 100's fine. Yeah, okay, so he takes the fucking $100, and he's just like, whatever. And he goes like, okay, we're going to get you to this other town that's nearby Beijing, where there's a South Korean embassy. Now, legally speaking, if you were to get into the embassy, that is technically, South Korean soil, then South Korea can kind of deal with you at that point, right? As long as you get to that point, or, to Mongolia,
they just got to get to home base. As long as they can get there and you can touch it, you're safe.
Yeah, but they only need to get to the capital city of China as fugitives, and get there, and it should be all okay. Now they may have lost all 100 of their dollars, but you know what? They're already halfway there. They got this. They get a phone call. It's from John from earlier. John says, who the fuck are you two? We got guys snooping around the fucking border asking about you. What are you guys actually serial killers? And now Terry overhears this and he goes, what? It's like, no. Wait, we're not serial killers. We're
technically not. As North Korean officials, they're allowed to be serial killers.
They're like, no. He's like, dude, you guys are way too hot. I can't fucking take you there, man. I am not getting shot for you, man. $100 ain't fucking worth it, man. So he's like, fuck. So they gotta fucking book it on their own. Now, the guards are starting to snoop around and getting closer to them, and they're a little faster than these two random Korean guys on foot, right? So
that can't speak the language and don't know anything.
Yeah, but they have each other, Tad. Me and you, we're in China. We got this, okay? So
we got this, bro. Look, they got mangoes here.
They got 40 fucking mangoes here. They get through the mountains. They're
Alex,
walking around, sneaking around.
We end up robbing the mango bank, and it's like that scene in Trailer Park Boys. They're all eating the bananas in the car.
Now, as they're getting around, the guards are in the town ahead of them. They're like, wait, how the fuck did they know which way we were going? And it turns out that Terry sold them out. Terry immediately saw the heat, and the guards were asking about him, and he just immediately folded and told them which direction they were heading in, right? So the authorities are now in the town in front of them. They're like, oh, fuck, dude. What the fuck do we do, man? Like, I can't believe our brother sold us out like this. He's a Korean like us. How can he do this? Now, Tim gets an idea. He's like, well, look, there's like a couple farmers nearby. We can like ask them to like hide out for a few days till things die down. They're our brothers. They wouldn't sell us out for a third time, right? So they go to the farmer's house, and they go like, hey, buddy. Now, okay, point of view. You're the farmer. You open the door. Knock on your door at 3 a.m. You see two small, scrawny, hairy-ass guys who haven't bathed in about a week so far, because they've been out here for a while running around, who are just like, hey, dude, can we stay here for a couple days? Now, they say this in perfect Korean, so he's like, oh, fuck. So he's like, okay, look, you guys can stay for a couple days, all right? But, like, you guys, like, can't stay here. If you guys are, like, you guys are on the run, like, I don't want the fucking heat here either. Like, thank you, brother. You're the best. Now, he feels kind of bad for him because he is a Korean man himself. He actually gives them some food and a little extra bread to take with them on their journey. And, you know, after the night, they move on to the, you know, the rest of their way, too. Now, here's where something bad goes wrong. Eventually, they go across this mountainside, and they're like, fuck me, dude. The guards are on our ass. I have a plan. If we get caught together, we're fucked. Let's split up and meet back here tomorrow morning. The guards are gonna probably check each town. So, like, if we get spotted, we can, like, running for the other guy, we can just get the fuck out of here. But if one of us gets caught, at least it won't be both of us. Now, Jim is like, dude, we might be fucked if this happens. Tim's like, look, man, like, one of us is fucked or both of us fucked. As long as one of us can make it, one of us can make it, man. Now, because they've been out here for a while now, they're hungry, they're tired, they're fucking lost. Like, they just want to get the fuck. At this point, they just want to get the fuck
Alex,
out of here.
I'm gonna be so upset if if a brother sells out a brother for the 4th time. I'm just letting you know this now. I'm
So here's what
very
happened.
upset.
Jim and Tim go to their respective little hidey holes, and the next day comes. Jim goes to the meeting spot, and he waits all morning and all afternoon. Tim never shows up. He doesn't know this, but in his heart he knows, oh my god, they got him, didn't they? And I'll let you in on a little secret. They did. They did check the place that Tim was at, and they did catch Tim. Now, Tim does not sell out Jim. He says that him and Jim split up the minute they hit the border. He has no idea where he's at, and he just went in this direction. Now, he threw off the guards immensely by saying that, right? Mm-hmm. And he bought Jim a shitload of time. Now, Tim is a real one, and he unfortunately would not survive, but his sacrifice was a really good thing, because now Jim might be alone, but the heat's off of him, right? So, now Jim has no money, he has no bro with him, and he's still got to get to Beijing somehow.
He lost his Samwise. How's he supposed to carry it all the way to the fires of Mongolia? So, no, that's right. Never mind. The South Korea one in the middle of Beijing.
So, he calls up Terry, the guy who sold him out earlier, and Terry's wife picks up the phone. Now, he's like, hey, you remember that $100 I gave your husband? Could you, like, mail that to this P.O. box in this town I'm in? I really need the money. To which the wife is like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna give you your $100 back. Are you insane? But she's like, yeah, but it's American dollars. Like, look. Just give me like 25 of the bucks. You can keep 75 of it. That's still like a huge profit for you. I need to like eat so I can get to Beijing. The wife surprisingly says yes and just mails him 25 American dollars.
I mean, hell, what are you gonna do? Oh my god, don't tell me she put the fucking return address on there.
No. Luckily she wasn't that stupid because her husband is dealing with shipping North Koreans around in China. So he goes out here. So he gets his $25. He buys, quote, a bunch of hot dogs, unquote, and eats them. so here's his plan. He's like, okay, I kind of don't know where I'm at, really.
Of hot dogs.
Okay, so I have a bunch of hot dogs. I get like $10 left. I've got like
I've got $5 left. He didn't know how much they were worth, so he spent $1 a dog.
So he's got a little bit of money left, but he's still kind of in the middle of nowhere.
He's got 15 hot dogs and $5 in his pocket. He's got everything he needs.
He comes up with a plan. Now, I need to find a way to get to Beijing, but I can't speak Chinese. And like, wait, I got it. What if I just walked around the fish market and just spoke Korean randomly until somebody replied? Because if the Chinese people don't know Korean, they're just going to ignore him. But if someone knows Korean, they'll look his way, right? Because they'll recognize the words he's saying. So he just starts walking around the fish market, just saying random like shit in Korean and mumbling to himself. Now, a woman turns around and says, "Excuse me, are you speaking Korean, dude?" And he's like, "Listen to my story." That's how he opens his fucking thing, by the way. He immediately opens with that. He tells her everything that I just told you. And she's like, "What?" And he's like, yeah. So like
bro, I'm
like,
a cop.
Yeah. She's like, what? He's like, "Listen, I need to get to Beijing. I have $10. Can you get me there?" She's like, "Sure, man, whatever." So she calls up her friend, and he gives him a little more money, and he basically just taxi hops his way down to Beijing, and he manages to somehow cleanly gets into the South Korean embassy. Okay, hold on. Wait. He gets there. He's getting into the building cleanly. He gets to the building. Now, the embassy isn't a building in itself. It is effectively in like, you know, one of those like buildings that has several smaller offices.
Aleks, I want you to know this is what I think it looks like. I think it is a 2x2 green, like freshly mowed piece of grass surrounded by 48 layers of like barbed wire in North Korean soldiers. And like devil dogs. It looks like you're trying to go into like to see the newest Kino. You gotta dodge the cinema hawks on your way in.
South Korea doesn't have its own embassy building. They have an embassy office in a Chinese building. You might start to think that this is going to be a little harder than you initially thought.
Shit.
So, technically speaking, a tenth of that building is South Korean soil. So here's how the plan goes. He's up to the building, and he is told all of this by the cab. He goes, uh-oh. So he goes there, and he sees some very suspicious-looking dudes in suits walking around and muttering in Korean by the embassy. He starts getting really fucking sweaty. He's like, "Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, my God, no. I'm right here, man. I can't fucking choke now." So,
because you also don't know if they're North or South Korean. You can't really tell from a distance.
Exactly. So he's nervous. So he
throws a grenade.
So he pulls out his grenade, right? So she's like, okay.
Walks over. He's like, "Man, that bus thing was pretty good, right?"
So he's in his shitty hobo clothes. He's unshaven, unwashed, greasy, and has fucking $2 to his name and one last hot dog. He's gonna go in there looking like Harry Dubois, and he's gonna walk up to the Chinese office lady and go, "Excuse me," and in perfect Korean, go, "Excuse me, is the South Korean embassy here? I have a meeting. Here's my badge." And he pulls out his shitty dented badge that he still has from the trip over here from the beginning. She goes, "Oh, okay, sure. I'll page him right away." She calls him up. He's like, "Hello, there's a South Korean delegate here to meet you." The guy's like, "I don't have a fucking delegate here. What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, he needs to see you immediately." And they're like, "What the?" Oh, God, fucking no, God, fuck. He hangs up the phone. He leaves his office, walks down, sees this greasy guy with a hot dog in his hand, goes, "Oh, fuck." So he's like, okay, go. Come here. He shuffles him into the office. He's like, okay. I'm assuming you're from the North, right? And then the guy spills the whole fucking beans. He tells him the whole goddamn story. Now, in any other situation, at this point, he'd be home free. They would just need to like get him into like a limo or like a taxi, discreetly take him to the airport and get him to Seoul. I would say this guy wasn't a high-ranking official who's on the run, and also if the other guy wasn't just fucking captured and tortured to death, right? Now, North Korea, somehow, I'm actually not entirely sure how they found this out. It wasn't specified in the guy's story, but at some point, either China found out and tipped off North Korea. They're like, "We have reason to believe that the guy made it to the embassy." So North Korea does exactly as you suggested, Tad, and puts a bunch of guys outside the building. Because, well, legally speaking, they can't go in there and do anything about it, because that is South Korean soil. they can do something outside of that soil and just wait for the guy, because he's got to leave eventually, right?
Listen, they're taking a page from South Korea's book. Let's just starve them out in this little building.
Yeah, pretty much. So they're all positioned around, and it's like, okay, he's got to come out eventually, and we'll just deal with this. Now, this guy, Jim's feeling really bad because he's just in the office. Now, he lives inside this office for like legitimately 2 straight weeks. He just stays there. He just has to live there.
Tiny little. He's in like the broom closet.
They just have him sleeping out in the little. Because yeah, this is just a little office room in like a big like office building, right? So
man,
he's just
and he's
there.
stinky too. You know, he stinks like hot dogs.
So they keep him sustained with more and more hot dogs to keep him going through these trying times.
It's the only he learned the Chinese for hot dog, and that's it. He thinks that means food.
Well, remember, the embassy guys are Korean. They speak Korean.
Aleks, think about it. They don't have fucking hot dogs in North Korea. He probably thinks it's genuinely the only type of food out there. Who knows?
Well, I got a fun story about that I'm going to bring up, because I'm going to talk about this for a while. I got a fun bit about the food thing. You're going to love this one. But anyway. So, how does this story possibly end? Well, North Korean guards are like, you have a dangerous serial killer in your building. Please give him to the authorities right away. South Korea says, nuh-uh. North Korea goes, fuck, that's our thing.
Nuh-uh.
Fuck.
That's a cultural exchange.
Fuck. They call up China. They're like, China, we demand that you release that guy back to our custody. China is like, okay, hold the fuck on there, buddy. You can't demand things from us, you little shit. Hang on there, little bro. Fucking learn who you're fucking talking to. And in a fucking surprise twist of fate, and I'm dead serious about this, because North Korea was rude on the phone to the guys in charge of the Chinese police department, China says, you know what? Fuck you. They have the police come in and politely yet firmly tell the Korean soldiers to fuck off, which they do because they're not going to throw a fit about this. They're not stupid. And they step out of the way. The South Koreans look out the window with their binoculars. They're like, what the fuck is going on? They get a phone call. It's the police chief of the Chinese police in Beijing. He's like, yeah, I told the guys to fuck off. You just go to the airport, man. Fuck these guys. They're like, what? He's like, long story. Fuck these guys. Just do your thing, man. And they're like, okay. And so they get fucking Jim into a taxi cab. The North Korean soldiers look on angrily as they watch him fucking drive away, but they can't do anything about it. And he goes to Seoul. And then he writes a book about this, which I read. So Tim, unfortunately, he did learn that Tim did in fact die. The North Koreans did torture him to death, but he never sold out his brother. There's a little consolation for that bit. But that is how you can escape through the river. Now, did that seem complicated? That was a rich guy doing it. Most of the guys just get caught. Most of the guys get to the bus part, and they just get caught right there. And the reason I told that whole story,
or they get fucking shuffled around and human trafficked, bro.
That mostly happens to the girls that escape. That is a real thing that happens, by the way. But that's the river.
Yeah, it's fucked.
What if I just said fuck it? I took a boat. Well, there's a bunch of mines and submarines everywhere from the Cold War all around. I can't take a boat. What about the DMZ? It's 2 miles of landmines. I mean, fucking Huey, Dewey, and Louie made it across and they became movie stars. I mean, why can't I just go the other way? What are they gonna do? Shoot me? There's landmines everywhere. Now, this is a recent story. You might have heard this of the North Korean defector who just said fuck it and he booked it out the front fucking door. So
yeah, I found out that dude, when he went and got like seen by a bunch of doctors, he was like a high-ranking dude. He was very official. He was like paid a lot of money. Dude, bro was full of worms.
So he was
that's what the top brass are eating.
He wasn't top brass. He's actually young. He was like a 20-year-old guy. He was a young soldier, but he was driving a car. Now, cars are, because there's not a lot of fuel, cars are usually reserved for special trips or the military to do stuff in, or like public transportation. Largely, you're walking or biking around in North Korea, right? Now, this guy's driving his car. Previous night, he was drinking with his buddy, and he's a little hungover. Now, he's driving along the road and says, why is there a tree in the middle of the road? Oh, fuck! And he rams into a fucking tree off the side of the road. Now, time slows down. He is like, oh, fuck, oh, shit, oh my god, I am so fucked. Oh my god, I just fucking hit this, I damaged this car. I am so getting sent to a fucking labor camp. He stumbles out of the truck, out of the military fucking car. Now, he sees where he's at. he is suspiciously close to the border of South Korea at this point. Because the DMZ isn't a full 2 mile of measurement. It kind of like fluctuates a little bit, right? It's obviously wider and narrower in certain areas due to geography. Now, he's coincidentally in one of those narrower parts where the South Korean border is actually pretty goddamn just really close, right? And he's already passed the fence part because he drove fucking through it. So he's out of the car. Again, time is slowed here. He, in slow motion, he looks at the car, looks at his feet, looks forward. He looks behind him and he sees his fellow soldiers going like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get your ass back over here, you dumbass. You are in so much goddamn trouble. And now first they're just walking up angrily at him. They're not like, they're not gunning him down yet.
Because they just saw like, he had a car accident because he's a drunk moron.
Yeah, get your ass over here.
They're probably thinking, fuck, there's going to be so much paperwork I'm going to have to do.
Yeah. They're annoyed, but not hostile yet. However, again, this is all happening in the span of like 10 seconds. It's in slow-mo. He looks over and sees that. He looks over to the border and sees that South Korea is like 20 feet away from him. He goes, fuck it. It's labor camp or I get shot. I'm fucking going for it. And he just fucking sprints. He goes into a full-ass knees-to-chest sprint across the goddamn border. The North Korean soldier audibly says, fuck, god damn it, and they pull out their guns and start blasting. Now, I said about the river, they're not supposed to waste ammo. Now, that was back in the 90s. This one's very recent. This happened in the 2020, so they can actually use ammo now. So this is a long time later. So they're just blasting, bang, 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 and he's fucking running. Again, this all happened in the span of like maybe 15 entire seconds. He's running. He fucking jumps forward, spins through the air, and fucking hits the ground face first, basically dead, into the South Korean border. The guards say, fuck! And they scatter because they can't get him now. He's across the fucking, the fucking line. And so the South Koreans, who are always on duty, on the border, are looking at this with their binoculars, and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I did see this. Yeah. Because it's at night. It's like the thermal vision and shit. They seem like, holy shit, bro.
No. This happens in the daytime, but they see him, they go, oh my god. We gotta get this guy, but we can't do it now because the guy's gonna probably just shoot at us because they're pissed off. Let's wait until nightfall. So they leave this guy bleeding to death on their border until midnight, where then they've seen this footage. They crawl over, grab the guy, and then drag him over to the border. Now that's how booking it goes. Now, what happened to this guy? Well, he actually survived, as you already know, and they did a medical investigation. He had a fucking 10-inch parasite in his goddamn intestines because in order to fertilize the crops.
Aleks, conceptualization chimes in. That's the hot dog.
I see you're eating some of those Manchurian hot dogs over there in China, huh? Ooh, not good, bro. So,
Manchurian hot dog.
So,
oh, Jesus, I've never heard that. It's really funny.
So, here's how they warm this guy up. Now, he was basically out cold from getting shot 5 times. He got hit 5 times.
Yeah,
and just bleeding out there. Now he's out. Then he wakes up. He's in a white hospital room. He's like, what the fuck? Where am I? Am I in Pyongyang? A doctor goes like, hey there, buddy. Good to see you. Don't worry, you're not in Pyongyang. He says, yes, I am. Where else would I be? He's like, brother, look behind you. He turns his head around him, and there's a South Korean flag on the wall. He says, no way, you're just fucking with me. And he says, dude, would North Korea even pretend to put one of our flags up in their buildings? To which he goes like, no shot. He looks out the window, and he sees a city that's actually functioning. He goes, oh my god, I'm in South Korea, holy shit. He's like, yep, welcome aboard, brother. By the way, you had a 10-inch parasite in your intestines. Should we do something about that? He's like, oh my god, I'm actually here. Oh my god, I actually made it. Why does my ass hurt? It's like, oh yeah, you got shot in the ass. Like there was a really big wound in your fucking butt. I'm sorry about that. It was kind of funny, but yeah, you're kind of fucked up. You're gonna kind of limp for a little while. He's like, fuck, man. Fuck, I'm actually here. Hey, doctor. Doctor's like, yeah? Can I have a chocolate cake? He's like, what? Yeah, you guys have those fudge cakes, right? The fucking the fudgy wudgy.
I've heard of this Little Debbie.
Yeah, he's
I want to meet her.
He's like, you mean the ones down the street at the convenience store? He's like, yeah, can I have one of those? He's like, Yeah, man, sure, whatever. So the doctor kind of bewildered. The first thing this guy wants, out of anything, is just a chocolate, a little like brownie,
Aleks,
basically.
it's not what the man wanted, it's what the worm wanted.
So the doctor goes down the street personally. He goes like, "Yeah, can I have some of these fucking like little Debbie fucking fudge cakes?" And like, when the fuck does a doctor come down here and get these? Aren't you on the clock? He's like, "Yeah, we have a North Korean guy. He wants these fucking fudge cakes." And like, so the cashier goes like, "That's fucking crazy." She calls up her boss. Her boss goes, "What?" Because here's the thing. At this point, because this is the modern days, this is when Un's in power.
Yeah, this is very recent.
Yeah, this is very recent. So like like defections under Un very rarely happen. It has gone down like 99%. So this is like a rare thing as opposed to before in the 90s where it was happening a lot, where the random fucking guys in Koreatown were pissed off about it. Now this is like rare. They're like, "What?" She calls her boss. The boss goes, "What?" He calls like the Little Debbie's fucking like headquarters in Korea. They hear the story and they're like, "Wait, we have an idea." So the Korean guy's just sitting there in his fucking hospital room, scratching his wounded ass butt, and he's just looking around. And then the doctor comes back with not one, not two, but like 12 big boxes of fudge cakes because his story immediately went viral online because, it's the social media age. And fucking the Little Debbie's is just like, "You know what? We're going to give this guy a lifetime supply of specifically this flavor of chocolate fudge cake that he wanted."
The shittiest, cheapest, chalkiest cake we got.
So there's a reason for that, though. Do you know why he wanted this cake?
Why?
Because in North Korea, they actually used to sell these back when the relations weren't entirely dog shit. Remember that Aboriginal tourist spot?
Yeah.
They used to have them there, but then after the Arduous March, they stopped selling them there, and then they made their own shitty imitation brand. And he said, quote, "They taste like absolute dog shit, bro." So he wanted a real-ass Little Debbie's fucking fudge cake. That's all. Because over there's a rumor saying that in the South, they have millions of these fudge cakes just laying around everywhere for you to eat. Which technically they have them in a grocery store,
fuck.
but that's a story.
It
over there
grows
in the
like
north.
rice.
That's what they say. And so that guy who is still alive to this day, because this was like a few years ago, he's just hanging around. He's just like a politician now.
He's 700 pounds.
By the way, he does still get these cakes every like month, just in the mail.
Aleks, what if he took a bite? He's like, "Oh, this tastes awful. I don't want to eat this."
North Korean food. It probably tastes like the best thing in the world to him, man.
It tastes better than rice, air, and dirt. The 3 North Korean food groups.
So that's a bit of me jumping in the gun. Let's go back to the 90s because there's a story in here that I know you're gonna love. Because this is gonna be a long episode, guys. I love this topic. So back in the 90s, back to the so-called good times, but not for North Korea. So everything's going to shit. Ardous March is happening. People are defecting in droves. People are starving. Flies are eating people in the street just openly. It sucks ass. You've probably heard the famous story called $1 for a Girl, where a mother was selling her daughter away for $1. Not as like a weird prostitute, but just as an idea, just to like give her away to a home for someone who would take better care of her because she couldn't feed her. Like everything was really bad in Korea, even in Pyongyang, the capital. Now, Kim Jong-il is like, "Okay, I know things are bad right now, but we really got to improve our image. Because if the outside world sees that we're starving and shit, they're going to think that Juche is dog shit, and we can't let that happen. So let's build some amusement parks on the border, as I previously stated, to make it look pretty nice." Now, there's another thing he did.
In a much happier world, Aleks, there is a comedy movie about some like teen setting the water slide pressure to like 10 billion and launching across the canal. There is a world out there where that's like a silly like comedy movie where like North Korea stayed capitalist and it was like, "Oh, hey, this is great." By the way, what a beautiful thing. Like, dude comes over, immediately gets a corporate sponsorship. I love capitalism. There's a reason it works, guys.
So here's the deal. I need to look good. Now, I could just like maybe work on these sanction things, maybe like not be a big threat, and maybe like try to trade with people and get some more food and shit. Now, the UN for human rights does give Korea a bunch of rice to sustain itself, which is like not a lot. It's enough to just make them not all die, but it's enough to keep them like afloat. And so they're like, okay, a North Korean official makes a deal with Switzerland to get a bunch of specifically cheese. They get a bunch of cheese from Switzerland mailed over to North Korea, and it actually works out really well for them because Switzerland, for whatever reason, has, much like me, has a soft spot for North Korea and just like gives them a lot of shit. Like, fun fact, there's a North Korean embassy, an actual embassy building in Switzerland. That's also where, we'll get ahead to this story, but that's where Un studied school, too. He was a foreign exchange student over there during his high school days.
Yeah, I know the Swiss kind of geopolitics is they try to remain as neutral as possible, which is strange when it comes to like cases like North Korea. But I know that is one of the few things I do know about North Korea is that there is a strange, long relationship between them and Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland also gave him a bunch of cars, and
that's the one I know about. Yeah,
they're like, don't worry,
they just fucking gypped them.
Yeah, they're like, don't worry, we'll pay you back. Then the Ardous works.
Yeah, anyone who was wondering how the fuck a car got into North Korea earlier, that's how. Either that or it was a shitty Soviet piece of garbage.
So.
Lithuanian motors. That's why it crashed.
Kim's goon on the right calls up a Japanese man of all things named Antonio Inoki, a politician and professional wrestler. He's like, I have an idea for a great... I have a great idea for a good image for North Korea. How about we host the WCW Super Slam event in Pyongyang? Now, the Korean official hears it says, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Approved. So the WCW is now booked for their thing. Okay, North Korea calls this the Pyongyang International Sports and Culture Festival for Peace. Or, as the WCW would call it, Collision in Korea, featuring Ric Flair versus the aforementioned Antonio Inoki. Because he's a politician and professional wrestler. Because he's the politician. He's a politician and professional wrestler at the same time. Okay, so here's how this goes down. Collision in Korea is one of the most interesting fucking tidbits of history. Now, this is every wrestling fan knows. Every wrestling fan knows of this. But this is like, this was not really televised or recorded for obvious reasons.
Oh,
this is just kind
recorded?
of like,
fuck, dude. Alex, I was hyping myself up right now over the past like minute or two. Like, holy shit, I'm about to see some wild footage. I somehow didn't like see it.
We have photos like this one right here because the state doesn't want people to take recordings of stuff that they don't have strict control over. So the state themselves will come in, take pictures that are approved, and then give them back to you. So we have pictures like this, but like we don't have footage of the actual matches. We do have, however, their stories.
Why is Ric Flair holding a ceramic urn?
Because you think they got a fucking belt in North Korea, man? So we've got Ric Flair, Scott Norton, the Road Warrior Hawk, the Steiner Brothers, Chris Benoit, yes, that guy, and Eric Bischoff on the mic, as well as special guest star, retired professional boxer Muhammad Ali. So,
yeah, this is the Collision in Korea.
For reference, for those who don't know wrestling history, Chris Benoit went crazy and murdered his wife and son and then killed himself.
Because he got hit with too many chairs. He got that CTE.
He is a forbidden thing. If the crowd chants his name when they're upset at WWE, they have to mute the crowd. Also, that's what they do. They throw a fit. When the crowd throws a fit, they just start chanting Chris Benoit. Because a week before they discovered, okay, so they saw his killed himself, wrestling history time. They saw his dead body, like where he killed himself, and then they put out a sad thing like remembering Chris Benoit. He was with us for so many years. He was a great wrestler. Then after they put that out, a day later, they discovered his wife and child's body that he also murdered before that, and they went, oh fuck! And they quickly pulled the remembrance video, but it was really embarrassing. And he's now a forbidden name in the WWE because they really fucked that one up. So,
when they silence the crowd, Alex, I want you to know my version of that, my vision, was that they just throw a big blanket over everyone so they go to sleep like birds.
Well, they throw a grenade into the crowd and tell them to scatter. So how did Collision in Korea go? How do you get a really stoic and reserved and at this point starving and meek country to get on board with professional wrestling, a really hype individualist sport. Well, here, okay. Immediately things go wrong when they get up to the goddamn airport. They go to the North Korean airport, and the North Korean officials walk up and they're like, passports, please.
By the way, the airport is the one.
It is. So they go to the one. It unironically is. They go to the one airport, and they fucking go. They give them their passports. The North Koreans then take their passports and walk away. Ric Flair notably looked to his other wrestlers and said, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little afraid we're not going to make it back. He actually said that, by the way.
Then he added a woo. Don't forget the woo, Alex.
So
woo boy. We ain't coming home.
They go to a hotel. They are constantly So when you go to North Korea, usually they do actually allow some tourists and visitors, especially during a time like this where they needed people just to show up and like give them some money desperately. But when you're there, you're closely monitored by a couple of things. One, you have a handler. Then you have a nanny who can kind of speak English. And then you have a guard. And if you're a big group, they might give you 2 guards. But you're always monitored by like, these 3/4 people. Now, they already are kind of awkward because like they have the wrestling crew, the boys, they're groupies, and now you've got like these guards just like staring at them with these fucking stoic and or mildly annoyed looking faces. Now,
giving you that Manchurian hot dog stare.
So immediately they still have their passports. They're like, okay, those wrestling fits you guys got on, like, yeah, no good, not good. Wear a suit. They're like a business suit now. And so they order them immediately to just go into the bathroom and change into a nice suit, which luckily they do all have because they are like professional wrestlers. They just walk out in their suits like, good. Now, when you guys are around town, none of those, no casual, no wrestling suits, only these suits. Only these suits. Understand? Like, only these? Only these. Very important. And they stare him in the eyes, and he points at him, and then they walk away. They're like, this is gonna suck, man. I don't like this already. So, while this is going on, they're setting up the ring, they're doing all the things, they're hanging out at a bar, and they start getting a little rowdy. Now, they're getting a little rowdy and pushing each other around. The guards don't step in, but they are kind of confused at why they're fighting each other, because they thought Americans were all a bunch of hive-minded monsters who work together. But they're seeing these guys get kind of shoving each other around and get into an argument, and they're going, huh.
The argument, by the way, Ric Flair, why the fuck are we in North Korea, bro?
Yeah, kinda. So, Ric Flair is on edge. Norton especially is really on edge. Now, his wife calls him, and she's like, I can't believe you're out in North Korea. You're out there to go see some Korean girls and party. I can't believe you would do this. To which Scott Norton oddly says, no, honey, I'm not doing that. This country sucks. The guard immediately turns his neck with like a bone-snapping noise, walks up to him, politely yet firmly puts his hand on his shoulder, and says, right this way, Mr. Norton. And they drag him away from the rest of the group. Now, Norton says, I thought I was a dead man right here. So they drag him away. They take him to, and I quote, an unmarked and unknown location, and put him in a chair in like a dimly lit room. They get up in his face and say, and you can see why he was scared. He's like, Mr. Norton, we do not appreciate the use of language implying that our country is anything but prosperous. You will be on your best behavior in our land. Is that clear, Mr. Norton? Norton goes, yes. They're like, good. I'm glad we had this talk. You're free to go, sir. He goes like, what? He's like, yeah, go. And so he just gets up and he leaves the suspicious-looking torture room and completely unscathed.
Well, I mean, he's right, though. I mean, that leaves such a good impression on him.
No, to be fair, he got out, but like, oh my, he said I legit thought I was gonna die right there, man. So
That's terrifying.
so
And like the reason why is that they're like, dude, we like the North Korean soldiers like, bro, we've got 7 people staring us down right now. We can't let these white boys say anything. We're so fucked if they do.
But they know they can't they can't rough them up because they're a bunch of really famous people, right? Like it's really bad look if something goes wrong. So like they just politely yet firmly drag you to the torture chamber to give you a strongly worded criticism and send you on your way.
Do you think that's how it went? Like literally, they're just because you're so exhausted, you're so tired, you're literally following the Ken flowchart, Aleks. So then you get him to like the prolapse room, and then your boss is like, whoa, no, you cannot prolapse him. You cannot do this. You cannot turn him into Chris Benoit yet. So, and then it's just like you could just yell at him, but like don't like raise your voice, but yell at him.
Okay, so luckily they don't die, but let's talk about the day of the show because the show had to go on at some point, right?
Jesus, so, Aleks, as soon as you said the day of the blank, I'm like, holy fuck, it's gonna be another mass tragedy.
The day of the collision.
Anything in North Korea that's marked by a day, it's not great.
Okay. The day.
Aleks, are you laughing because you have the Discord channel but you see the fucking schmaloogles getting juice gif? Because I know I am.
Maybe. Okay, so the day of the day. Ric Flair walks in. The fireworks are going off. The little the things on the side of the ring are going off. Like, yeah, hello, citizens of the DPRK. Are you ready for the WCW? The crowd is completely silent and just staring blankly in front of themselves. No, wait, hold on. I gotta back up. I wish I had this part. I wrote this down. Rewind. No, the bus right there, because it's always in the bus, Tad. The 31 wrestlers are jetting the bus.
Ric Flair's got a grenade!
So, Ric Flair with his grenade goes into the bus, and they're like, whoa, Mr. Bus Driver, we're going down to the WCW arena. Are you excited? He's like, yes, sir, I can't wait to see it for myself. You're like, you're going there too, man? He's like, oh, yes, almost everyone's going to be there. Like, in fact, I think you guys sold out. He's like, whoa, we sold out? That's like 200,000 people. We've never done that good in the history of the WCW. Why are you guys so into wrestling? The bus driver turns to him, looks him dead in the eyes while still driving, and says, because they told us to go. And then he goes back and looks back out the window and keeps driving.
His head keeps turning the same direction.
So, this is, and I'm dead serious, the most audience, the biggest audience and crowd the WCW has seen in their history. And it was in North Korea. I'm dead serious. This was the most viewed event they ever had because the North Korean government, really wanting to make their image better, literally forced everyone to go to see the wrestlers.
God, and you know they were sitting in those seats a good 3 hours before the game started.
Yeah, okay, so back to the present. So Ric Flair's like, yo, make some noise, citizens of the DPRK. And they're like, yes.
So you hear one person claps and he's immediately has to get up out of his seat and is escorted out.
Please come with us, Mr. Clapper. Since
you are so rudely interrupting the show, Mr. Clapper.
So they all get up and they start doing the wrestling. Then like, oh yeah, I'm here to fucking throw down with Ric Flair. Are you ready to fucking, I'm gonna get in your face. Fuck you, Ric Flair. I'm gonna kick your ass. The audience, who doesn't really speak English, is just like, and they're just watching. Can I, Ted, see this gif? That is all 200,000 North Korean citizens right now, just staring at these big roided up white dude and a Japanese guy, just yelling at each other in a language they don't fully understand. Now, there's a handful of wrestlers here. Now, you've got you have Eric Bischoff on the mic, but you also have Muhammad Ali in the mic, also speaking in English, just going, and he's held in here with a steel chair. Do you guys see that? They're like, and so again, this whole thing is just a series of comedic errors and awkwardness. Now, they go through each wrestler fight. Surprisingly, nothing really happens because everyone's just dead silent. It's a lot of that over and over until the main event, which is Ric Flair versus Inoki. Now, Inoki is Japanese. The Koreans don't like Japanese people. So every time Ric Flair landed a good chop or punch or throw on Inoki, the crowd went woo and cheered every time he fell because they hate him because he is Japanese. Now the crowd was getting into it. And Ric Flair was like, okay, yeah. And he's doing the thing with his hands.
He's starting to, they're starting to get it because they're starting to have a little more freedom. They're like, oh, this is how you do it.
Like, yes. Woo, I am wooing. Woo. The guards are even getting, the guards are reportedly even getting, the guards themselves, according to Ric Flair, even they were getting kind of into it, unquote. So everything happens, and they do the wrestling show, and everything, they'll shake hands, sign paperwork, everything's done. Now, that's where the story would end if it was that easy. Ted, how do we get out of North Korea? They took our passports. So, they go to the airport. And so our tour was done. It went really well. 200,000 seats. The North Korean, official guy in his big fucking commie hat, he's like, yes, I heard that. You guys did a very good job. Well done, Mr. Ric Flair. And well done, Mr. Norton. You remember our talk, right, Mr. Norton? Mr. Norton nods his head without saying anything. He goes, excellent. Signs the thing. Okay, you are free to get on the plane. And he's like, where's our passports? He says, you are free to get on the plane. So they just get on the plane without their passports. And as they're in their fucking passenger seats, the official walks up and says, oh, by the way, you almost forgot this. And hands them a little stack of their passports and says, good day to you, Mr. Flair and Mr. Ali. He stops over and says, and you have a wonderful trip back home, Mr. Norton. Pats him on the shoulder and then leaves. I'm dead serious, he did this, by the way. He pats him on the shoulder and then he leaves. But they got their passports back and they got back home. First off, they landed in Japan and then they went back home. But when they got to Japan on the flight, Ric Flair allegedly got off of the airport and kissed the ground and said, "Oh, thank God, I'm not in North Korea anymore." So,
by the way, Alex, I found a recreation of the matches. I guess this must be some deep wrestling autism. Someone recreated the whole event in WK 2019 or something. I gotta watch that later. I hope it's just dead silent for the first half of the match.
So it went well, and now people were talking about North Korea in a not so negative light. Now, during this whole thing, Kim Jong-il is okay.
Well, WCW too. One thing to keep in mind, that is an American company, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But a lot of the American hate, I mean, it's been around for a while. But again, the whole point was everything's they're desperate. They just want to clean their image. They had a Japanese guy wrestling, chanting to the crowd. They were doing anything at this point. Okay, Japan is the reason North and South Korea exist. Their conquest is why this even happened. They were doing anything. So, Kim Jong-il is like, okay, we've done it, everybody. We have successfully improved our image of North Korea. See, look, the wrestling event went really, really well. They look at him and say, yes, it did, Mr. Dear Leader. We did a really good job. Yes, haha, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're so fucking screwed, man. Now, Kim Jong-il was a very fat man. He loved greasy foods. You might know the story of his Japanese cook, because he had a Japanese guy ordered in. This is a very short story, so I won't harp on it too long. He had a Japanese guy come in and cook for him, specifically Japanese foods, but with Korean spices, and fucking Il loved that shit. He ate that constantly. It made him fat and greasy as fuck. Now, the reason this guy is famous is because he went to North Korea on they just called him and said, hey, you want to come cook in Pyongyang? We'll give you $30. He's like, you guys see the confused picture I just sent you? He's like, I guess, yeah, question mark? Because it's not like every day you get a fucking phone call going to Pyongyang. Just fucking go with it, right? So he goes to Pyongyang, and he cooks for Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-il fucking loves him and hires him out as his chef for a whole year. Now, surprisingly, he actually makes good on his word. He's like, well, you know what? Your contract's up. You can go back to Japan if you want. And he does. He goes back to Japan and just goes back to his restaurant. But he's like, I was making really good money working for Kim Jong Il, man.
Listen, man.
That's like a dictator. That's a dictator money.
Like, Alex, listen, I mined Bitcoin for the Chinese Communist Party. They paid me $28 an hour, and I had the best insurance I've ever had in my life. No monthly premium. I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, so I think his name was like Ryu. Fucking Mr. Ryu.
Oh, like the video game.
Mr. Ryu calls up Pyongyang because he has him in his call history. He's like, guys, you guys still need a cook? And Pyongyang's like, welcome back, Mr. Ryu. And they bring him right back in.
We always knew he'd come back.
So he comes back. Now, Kim Jong-il really likes Mr. Ryu. Why does he like Mr. Ryu? Simple. Because Ryu is a foreigner who is not a threat. What do I mean by this? He's just a cook. He's just a guy. He's just some guy.
Yeah, I know a little bit about this guy. It's like if Joe Buckley got a phone call to go to Pyongyang, Joe would not particularly give a shit about like politics. Me? No, if I go there, they're gonna have to blow me up with a grenade. Like I would not survive a second in North Korea.
Fucking.
But Buckley, Joe would just hang out, whatever.
So they bring him in, and he's hanging out with Kim Jong. Kim Jong Il likes to talk to him because like all around Kim Jong Il, there are yes men and schemers. He never really knows who to trust as a dictator, other than the people he has full control over. But full control people are never going to give him any pushback, never going to talk to him. Mr. Ryu, though, that's just his cook, and he doesn't speak, Korean all that well. He can just kind of shoot the shit with this guy. So he ends up forming this really weird, like, friendship with this guy. In fact, he takes him out to race with him on his jet skis at the summer home along the beach. Now, Mr. Ryu is a smart guy.
Jet ski races with the leader of North Korea.
Again, see that GIF I posted, Ted? It's very relevant to a lot of these stories about the leaders. So,
for those at home, it's that blue blob alien from like Monsters vs. Aliens or whatever, looking quite perplexed and unmoved by whatever's happening off screen.
So,
mouth agape.
Il loves to race. It's like his favorite fucking thing ever. Like how his son likes basketball.
He's a racist.
He likes to race. Yeah, he's a real racist. Now, he's like, yo, Mr. Ryu, you up for a race? Ryu's like, all right. Now, every time Il races one of his officials, they always just, like, don't hold the full throttle just to let their leader win, because they're not going to be the guy that beats Kim Jong-il in a race. They're going to fucking get killed, right? Ryu, however, is immune to those politics because he's just the chef. He doesn't care. So he just goes full fucking throttle, and Kim Jong-il fucking loves that. He's like, holy shit, finally, hard mode is here. I've been so bored. And they fucking have the, quote, sickest race of his life, unquote. And now, the chef is smart. He lets go of the throttle near the end to let Il win, just in case, but he gives him a challenge. And Il is like all in on this guy now. He loves him. As he was absolutely heartbroken when. What's up?
You know what it is? It's the first time as a kid you play Mario Party with someone and they're just as good as you.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. So he eventually did leave because his contract was up and he left for good. And that fucking broke fucking Il's heart. Because while he was getting connected with Il, he started getting kind of weirded out because there was a scene, this is a real story, where Il brought like himself, his like generals, and a bunch of naked girls all in one room, and he told the generals to dance with the naked women, but to not touch them, for those are his assets. And Ryu's just like serving food there, like, what the fuck is going on, man? Il turns to Ryu and says, isn't it great how much power I have? I can make them do whatever I want. Pretty fucking cool, isn't it, Ryu? Ryu's like, okay, okay, maybe I need to.
Can I have my passport back?
Yeah, can I have my passport back? And so he would eventually leave, and he didn't escape. He just left on his contract because he was actually in good relationships with the leader. But Il was pretty heartbroken because he basically lost one of his bromigos there. Now,
what a shame.
Il.
One of his bromigos, you say? I'm aware of one more.
So,
although not for him, I think it was for
there's a bromigo for another character we're gonna talk about. The people. But there's another figure we're talking about later. But Kim Jong-il, because he kept eating these greasy fat foods, didn't live for very long. He took over in 1994. He dropped down dead of grease-itis in fucking 2011. That's not a very long run. For reference, his father ruled from 48 to 94. All right, like he didn't last very long up there on the throne. Now, he needed to pick out a successor. Before he drops dead, he's dying, and he's like, I gotta pick up a successor. Now I have 3 sons. I have Chol, I have Un, and I have Nam. Let me look at my sons real quick. We have Chol. Chol is a very nice, kind boy who likes to play the guitar. He's a fucking pussy-ass fucking faggot. I don't like this guy. He's not a leader. Quote, he is not a warrior. He is ill-fit to lead. Actual line from Kim Jong-il, by the way. Now...
Oh, okay, let me ask you this. Is that one still alive?
We're gonna get to that when we get to Ooh, and don't worry. So, he looks over to Nam. He says, Nam?
This is gonna be like a 4-hour episode.
Tad, I really like North Korea. It is going to be a long episode. You're in it for the don't worry. I won't bug you too much. I only have a few more topics. Don't worry. So he goes over. He's like, He's not terrible, but Un though. He looks over to Un. Now Kim Jong Un is a kid, as I definitely mentioned this before in the podcast. Kim Jong Un is known for being, quote, really, really competitive. Now I've told this story before because I just bring up random North Korean factoids just unprompted. Like, Kim Jong-un really got angry at games. If he lost, it was the word. It was literally another Showa. Now, specifically, there was a scene that his father witnessed, or witnessed, where he saw Un playing with Nam, and they're playing, like, chess. Chol leans over, he's like, hey, Un, you should move your guy here. He does this, and he loses. Un then just says, you fucking little queer fucking faggot. Dad was right about you. I fucking hate you. I'm gonna fucking kill you one day, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna fucking kill you dead. Now, he looked at us and said, I like his anger. I like his fire. Even though Nam technically won that fight, but he's just like, he's got personality. I'm gonna send him to Switzerland to go to school. And I very greatly would like to keep a track on his personality while he's there. So he sends him over to Switzerland during high school, and he gets really into basketball. I also told this story is where he lost the game of basketball, and he, quote, banged his head against the wall and started screaming several swears and slurs. so
he really is a gamer.
So the handler that was always like his bodyguard, basically always around him while he was at school, like saw that, reported that to Il, and Il was like, yep, he's the one. And so he basically picked him as a successor right there. When he had an emotional freak out, he knew he was going to be a good leader. This is
good
all
dictator.
True. Now, side bit, you know this story. You know the story of Jerry, right?
Jerry.
I'm making up this name to keep him safe. So Jerry is a Portuguese kid who went to high school with this weird kind of skinny kid named Park Un. I wonder who that is. So Un didn't get along too well with everyone else in school. Not because he was mean or anything, despite his sports thing. He mostly just kept to himself, but he also didn't speak Swiss all that well. But this Portuguese kid, Jerry, didn't speak Portuguese that well. He spoke Portuguese better. Yeah, he didn't speak Swiss that well either. Now, I guess Kim knew Portuguese because they're just like, man, I don't know this language all that well. He's like, me neither, my man. Are you having trouble with your homework? Yeah, dude, could you give me a hand with that? Oh, yeah, no problem, bro. And then they became brothers at this fucking moment. Now, this is a weird story because Un and Jerry got really fucking close. Jerry was like the
now that I'm
only
thinking
thing...
about it, it can make sense because think about it. He's Portuguese, right? Mm-hmm. And he's at this place. He's from a completely different culture. He doesn't know anyone here. Kim's from a completely different culture. He doesn't know anything here. You know, I could see it. It's about the only person that would have any like relation to what he is. No one else is coming from like a fucked up backwards dictatorship.
Yep.
Unless they're coming from the United States.
Now, people in school knew Park was from North Korea, but they didn't know whose family he was from. They just said, like, oh, yes, he's the son of the ambassador. Now, remember, there is an embassy in the Swiss capital. So, like, that's a totally believable story. They roll with that. That's probably true. They see this guy, they see the ambassador and some other guys.
Alex, I just saw him freak the fuck out and bash his head on the wall. He's probably not their leader's kid.
Yeah, exactly. So, They're hanging out. They become bros. They play fucking Super Nintendo games and shit. They become total fucking. They play Smash Bros together. They're like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, this is fucking awesome. Now,
They go over to each other's houses and eat like buttered noodles and play Oblivion on the 360.
this, but unironically. So, one day, and
They burn Mike Dawson onto his mom's TV.
So, one suspicious evening, Pac calls over Jerry to his house, to a bus stop they hang out where they go to school. He's like, Jerry, what if I told you that, like, I'm gonna have to, like, go away, and, like, I'm gonna have to go away, like, forever, and I'll never see you again, man? What would you do? He's like, look, man, I'd feel fucking terrible, man. You're like my fucking bro. I fucking love you, man. He's like, yeah, I love you too, bro. You know, it fucking, I'm sorry, bro, but I gotta go, man. He's like, look, man, it's all good, man. You're like the best friend ever. Stay in touch. He's like, yeah, bro, I'll stay in touch. Now, they did a big bro hug. They gave each other, like, their addresses so they could mail each other. And then Pac disappears.
Their AOL Messenger accounts.
Yeah. Pac then disappears. Now, Jerry would never see him again. Or would he? So, nearly, like, I want to say, like, 15 or 16 years later, because they're high school, so they'd be, like, 30 at this point, right? They're 20s or, like, late 20s or early 30s. He's a letter in the mail. It's from Pac. Pac is like, hey, buddy, it's been a while since I talked to you. How you holding up? You become a chef like you always wanted to? Look, man, I've actually, like, made it pretty big over here in Korea. He doesn't specify which one, by the way. He just says Korea. He's like, I made it pretty big in Korea. I got, like, a nice place. How about you come swing on by to my place and we can hang out like we were kids again? What do you say, man? He's like, well, I don't have any money for that. And Pac says, oh, don't worry, man. I'm good for it. He's like, okay, sure. Now, like, a free trip to Korea never just come into your lap every fucking day, right? He rolls with it. Now, he goes to the airport, and much like the Ric Flair airport experience, it's immediately kind of awkward. He goes to the airport, he's like, yes, he told me to go to Terminal B7, okay, yeah, here we go. Excellent, all right.
Immediately notices he's, like, towering over everyone else.
So, I mean, yes, but also, he sees these guys are looking kind of, like, both skinny, but also, like, really stoic and kind of, like, disinterested in his overall appearance and swagger. What do I mean by this? Okay, so he walks up, he's like, hey there, this is B7, right? The lady's like, yes, it is. He's like, yes, okay, got a message from Pac, I'm supposed to get on the plane. And as he's saying this, one of the guys who is totally not a guard, just in, like, a regular attire, walks up, he's like, you're Jerry? He's like, yes. Come here, come with me. And he's like, okay, man. He just shrugs, he's like, okay. They walk into the plane. It's a decently, like, medium-sized plane. He walks him in. He's like, you sit here, bag here, all right. He opens the bag, just, like, looks inside and starts rummaging through it in front of him. Then he goes, all right, he's good. Zips the bag, just tosses it to the side on one of the other seats, and then very closely sits right up next to Jerry and just turns it slightly and just looks at him. He's like, yeah. He's like, and he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, so, anyone else come on the plane? He's like, no. He's like, so when's the plane leaving? He looks away from Jerry for 1 second, looks at his watch. About now, and the plane, it starts, going onto the runway. Jerry is getting a little weirded out by this right now, because he's just alone on the plane with this guy just right up in his face. And he's like, so, you friends with Pac? And he's like, he says, and I quote, who the hell is Pac? Jerry immediately goes, oh, fuck, am I screwed right now, man? He has no idea what's going on now. So,
the God, that must be so terrifying, because he knows what North Korea is.
But the thing is, from Jerry's perspective, he's like, am I getting fucking, like, shanghaied right now? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Am I getting kidnapped?
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, did some other high, like, government person just kidnap my ass?
So he's on this plane ride. Now it's a little while away from Switzerland to fucking Pyongyang. So they're just flying on this really long flight, and this guard is just sitting there, just looking at him the entire time in a really uncomfortable way.
Hands folded on his lap, feet flat on the ground, neck curved.
He's just like, So we going
You
to
like
Korea?
wrestling?
He's like, you like wrestling? He's like, no. We going to Korea, huh? He's like, yes. Where at Korea? Korea. Not much of a talker, are you? No. So how long is the flight? 8 hours at least. Can I read a book? What kind of book? It's a cooking book. That is acceptable within our parameters. He's just like, okay. So he just sits, so he's just reading this book. So this goes on for 8 hours. Again, see the GIF. This is a lot. This game is really relevant to a lot of people right now. So he goes on this really awkward flight. They go pulling up to the airport. He looks out the window, which the guard allows him to do. And he looks out the window and he goes, "Oh, fuck!" Because he sees all the red flags everywhere. He's like, "Are we in North Korea? We prefer to call it the DPRK, the Democratic Republic of the People's Democratic Republic of Korea." He's like, "Oh, fuck!" And so the plane lands. The plane lands. He's like, "All right, up, bag here, walk with me." And he's stern, stoic, and just not even like being nice at all. He's just being kind of rude. He follows him. Again, he's very nervous. What's he gonna fucking do, man? Fucking run. He's in North Korea. Now, he leaves the plane, goes down the little steps to the other side, and then when he gets there, a limo pops up, like a really nice looking car pulls up, and a guy walks out.
A non-Soviet car.
Yeah, he's like, "You, Jerry?" He's like, "Yes." "Come here." He's like, he walks up, bag. He gives him the bag, opens the bag, rummages it through it right in front of him again. The other guard says, "I've checked the bag." The second guard says, "Mm-hmm," and ignores that guard and then just rummages through it anyway. Then he's like, "All good," zips the bag up, hands it back to him, opens the car door, he just says, "In." And he's like, okay. He walks in, sits in the car, guy closes the door, walks in to the other side of the car door, opens the door, gets in the car, sits awkwardly close to him, hands on his lap, looks over to the right.
Sits in the middle seat in the back.
Yeah, looks right at him and says,
"Buckle your seatbelt."
"Are you well?" He's like, "Make sure you put on your seatbelt." Like, okay. The driver, because the driver's just the third guy who's there, and he's like, "All right, his seatbelt is on. Go to the location." Now, Now, they don't say where it is, because they need to keep the Supreme Leader's fucking location kind of a secret. He has several different homes he shifts to every now and then to keep those Americans off his back. So they looked at him, he's like, "By the way, Mr. Jerry, I'm afraid we're going to have to ask you to wear this." And he pulls out like one of those fucking hostage bags.
What?
And he's like, "Please wear this over your head." He's like, "What?" They're like, "Are you kidnapping me?" He's like, "Oh no, we're not kidnapping you. We simply must keep the location a secret." He's like, man, I'm fucking. He's very scared right now. But he puts on the bag and he does not see where the fuck he's going for the next 30-minute drive. So he is absolutely fucking scared shitless. They drive up, stop the car. He says, "You may remove your bag, sir." He removes the bag from his head. He's like, "Hey, it looks kind of nice out here." "Yes, it is. Our country is very beautiful. Thank you." And so he just leaves out the car door without saying anything else. Opens the trunk, opens the car door, gives him his bag. Now he points him to the right, and he sees what is basically a palace with 12 guards lined up the staircase, all sitting there, just immediately turn over and see this random white guy just pull up to the staircase. Now, the guard is holds up his hand and says, "It is all right, brothers." And he's like, the guards just right back to their initial positions, and then they start walking up the stairs. So, they open the big palace doors. Then they walk through a hallway and open the next set of big palace doors. They then walk 2 feet in front of it and open another set of big palace doors. And then finally, there's a smaller set of doors that they open.
It's exactly like the embassy. That's what it was modeled after.
So they open the doors, and across the room, a huge, long dining table with a fat guy sitting at the end of the corner in a nice black suit and slick back hair. He sees Jerry and gets up and he says, "Jerry, my man, you made it. Jerry says, Park, is that you? Because Park Un was Kim Jong-un, because his best friend in high school was Kim Jong-un. Park's like, welcome here, bro. Yo, come here, bring it in, pal. And he hits him up with the smiling friends, dab me up, and pats him on the back. He's like, yo, dude, yo, how was the flight? He says, it was a flight. He's like, oh, dude, were the guards nice to you? Go, tell me. Jerry, me and you go way back. Were the guards good to you? He's like, he was kind of in my face. Hey, get the guard. Replace him. He's no good. And so to jumpstart a little bit, that guard was replaced, by the way. So he's like, so Jerry, you're Park, you're Kim Jong-un, huh? He's like, oh yeah, man, like yeah, I made it pretty big out here. Yeah, I'm like a whole like leader and stuff, dude. It's like it's this whole cool thing. So Jerry, you become a chef? He's like, yeah. He's like, oh dude, wanna cook me up some stuff, man? We can hang out, we can play some Smash Brothers. I got a Wii. And he's like, what? So
bro, I've got it hacked. It's got Vigor from League of Legends in it.
So he invites him to hang out, and they legitimately just hang out, watch a bunch of movies, because Kim Jong-un has a fuckload of movies. They play video games, he didn't specify which ones, and they watch a lot of basketball matches that are pre-recorded, because Kim Jong-un fucking loves basketball.
Alex, I know what they were playing. They were probably playing NBA Jam on the Super Nintendo.
God, they probably fucking were, honestly, now that I think about it.
I'm sorry, the Sega Genesis.
but like, he just hangs out with him, he's like, what the So like, what? So they're just like, yeah, man, I'm here, dude. It's pretty cool, huh?
Alex, you were lying. This weird goopy guy really does summarize it. Yeah, that will be in the description. It's pretty goddamn perfect.
So surprisingly, Jerry makes it out of this alive. Now he hangs out with like him for like a whole week. They party, they eat pizza. Pizza. They eat pizza. They play video games, and
do you think North Korea pizza has like corn and shit on it? Like shit.
Well, considering it's just the dictator, it probably is just a regular ass pizza. Like if there's anyone who can afford a real pizza, it's probably Kim Jong-un.
Alex, I genuinely forgot that like anyone in North Korea has access to food. I genuinely forgot that was an option. Through his Juche spirit, he is able to manifest an anchovy pizza.
So Jimmy comes back home. Now, everyone at the airport knows he just got back from North Korea. It's not there's a lot of flights going to and from North Korea from Switzerland, right? Correction, there's not a lot of white people going, to and from North Korea. So he gets back and is immediately these other people who are in suits get up in his face and say, "So, you're in North Korea, huh? Can you explain what you're doing there, sir?" He's like, "Oh. My best friend in high school was Kim Jong-un." They go, what? And so they grab him and drag him away. And so they immediately start asking him questions. And this is where we actually learned a lot about Kim Jong-un's, like, character, is from Jimmy. Because Kim Jong-un doesn't do interviews. He does things publicly in North Korean TV that then, cut outside from whichever way. He only shows us the best of himself. We only know his personality from Jerry and NBA superstar Dennis Rodman, because Dennis Rodman hung out with Kim Jong-un for like a week. Fun fact, it's how we first learned that Kim Jong-un had a daughter. Because Dennis Rodman said like, "Oh yeah, thanks for bringing me over. It's really nice to hang out with you and your daughter." Kim said, "You weren't supposed to tell them about her just yet." He says, "Oh fuck, dude, I'm so sorry, man." Like, it's fine. You're Dennis Rodman. I accept it. It's cool. You're fine. You're cool.
You're Dennis Rodman. I accept it.
We're cool. So let's talk about Un. Now, we know Un likes video games and basketball, but what about Un as like a leader? What does he do? So Un is interesting. I talked about Un briefly, so I don't want to talk about him too long, but Un is interesting because he apparently he effectively inherited a dead empire, a dead city-state, or more like, because at this point the Ardous March is over, everyone fucking hates Korea, they have nothing. They do have one thing. They still have a bunch of Soviet-era nukes sitting around. The only thing that is keeping North Korea...
The only thing you need.
Because the thing is that if you don't have nukes, there's nothing stopping America from just getting rid of you because you're inconvenient. You've seen that recently with Mr. Maduro. Side note, have you seen the Cuban bodies from that attack?
The what?
So, in Venezuela...
When did Cuba get attacked?
Oh, okay. So Venezuela and Cuba are our allies. Venezuela was giving Cuba oil, which is the only reason Cuba was even still a stable country. Venezuela got recently attacked by the United States with 31 super soldiers, bummed rushed fucking Maduro in his capital, and, quote, used sonic blasters, unquote, to vaporize the Cuban military guards that Maduro had stationed in Venezuela, and they were reduced to jelly. And
Holy
you see this,
shit.
and so they captured Maduro, and then they took him away, and then put a new puppet king in charge of Venezuela, which is why Cuba has no oil, and Cuba has been without power for about 2 months now.
How long do you think the eggheads were sitting on that shit they ripped from the UFO?
The Cuban government sent out a video showing the returned bodies home in like a soldier's ceremony, right? Where they had Cuban military guys like doing the goose step, holding the caskets of these guys. They were small boxes of their remains. Each guard was holding one small box that was all that was left of the previous soldier. He was reduced to a small bit of jelly from the
Havana syndrome them.
The sonic blaster. Dad, I want to go out by getting hit with a sonic blaster. I want to be vaporized. I just fuck it. I need to be reduced to jelly like this gelatinous man that I keep posting in our gift search. So anyway, send him a sonic blasters. So anyway, Maduro didn't have nukes. That's why Cuban men got turned into jelly. Okay, Kim knows that. He knows he's gonna be jelly if he doesn't goddamn keep the nukes going. So he just goes all in on the military and the nuclear program.
Fuck.
Now, it's called like Song-un. Song-un is military first. Song-un is basically just military is everything. Our entire GDP is military. If we don't have a military, we're all gonna die. Now, technically speaking, they're not wrong. I can't exactly fault them for that. That is technically true. That they don't have nukes. They are just gonna get flattened. But it has led to them being very hostile with everybody, and Un has been quadrupling down in on that, which is why he's called the Rocket Man and is not really well respected by many of his peers. Xi especially does not like Kim at all. Xi and Kim really do not get along. There is very bad blood between China and Kim in general. However, Kim really likes Vlad. Vlad has his back. In fact, he has Vlad's back. As you know, in the Ukraine war, a bunch of North Korean soldiers have been sent out there to aid in Putin. So they actually do just have a straight up like actual military alliance, which is shocking. Like North Korea is actually owning up to that, which is like just showing you how good these two guys are. But I was watching, so okay, here's how in depth I am with this shit. I have been watching This Month in the DPRK channel, which just gives monthly updates of whatever official documents that they do actually let out. Because North Korea does actually talk a lot about themselves. It's just shit they want you to see, right?
Yeah, and it's all coached and however they want to present it.
Yeah, but like they do just like straight up record and show off their like boring government meetings. But at those meetings, they actually just have a little delegation of Russians there. Notably, there aren't any Chinese guys there, though. So, how do you think Kim makes money for all of these nukes, considering that nobody besides Russia really trades with them and China, right?
That's an easy one. How do you think they make all this money? It's by selling drugs.
So, meth. We talked about the meth Gatorade. However, that was in Kim Jong-il's days. They were selling meth to make money during the Ardous March. How does Un make money? Because Un thought it made them look bad selling meth and meth Gatorade. He shut down the production, but they had so much meth stocked up, they then made the Gatorade out of the leftovers. And that's what they use now. So they don't sell meth anymore, at least not openly. How do you think they make money? I'll give you one more guess, because you're gonna love this answer. I'll give you a hint.
Is it
you of all people
Juche?
know it? No. It's cryptocurrency, Dad.
Fuck, that's so obvious.
You personally have funded North Korea. And the fucked up thing is, I think, now that I think about it, I think you actually might have been giving North Korea money. Because nobody wants to trade with North Korea with real money. But cryptocurrency is completely unregulated by anything. So wait, you're telling me I can push buttons on a computer and generate a bunch of dollars that are completely unregulated and untracked by every government in the world. The crypto bros say yes. Kim Jong-un looks over and says, "We need every modern day computer right fucking now, man. We're getting the fuck out of the Ardous March, baby."
With what power grid?
I'm glad you asked. Okay, so here's a little skinny.
Because for those who don't know too much about crypto, to mine any kind of crypto, it takes a lot of electricity. It takes an awful lot. It makes a lot of noise, and it makes the life of everyone nearby like lower. But that doesn't matter in North Korea.
Dad, you think the blackouts because they don't have enough fuel? They're farming for the crypto farming, bro.
Oh my fucking god.
Well, that's what we theorize anyway. Now, we can't exactly ask them, and they're not going to tell us, because, duh. But that's what we theorize.
Well, here's what I imagine, is that I guess this is really more China's wheelhouse, but, like, you just steal crypto. You can do that.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what they do, too. They do that a lot, too. Now, Ted, enter the Lazarus Group. Yes, that's their actual fucking name. The Lazarus Group is a bunch of 31 super elite soldier hackers.
Oh my god.
Okay, if you're a child in North Korea, your future is basically dictated based on your test scores. Like how smart you are, how useful you are. You're either going to be a shitty farmer, a poop guy, a poop smith, a doctor, whatever. They assign you your thing.
If you get really, really low, you become a poop guy. But if you get like the highest, you also become a poop guy.
So, if you are really, really good at specifically math and computing, the government officials, because there's always one at the school, there's multiple at the school, I'd be like, oh, it appears little fucking Kimmy Jr. there is really intelligent. May I see his test scores? Mm-hmm. Yes, interesting. Does he know how to use a computer? They're like, well, we don't have a computer at school. I will bring you one. So they bring you a computer, just have like little Jimmy just work on the computer. But
the one kid use it, yeah.
Yeah. And
so he get his ass beat at recess.
So,
recess. Recess is going to work in the cobalt mine.
So they monitor his working. Now it doesn't specify how they monitor it, but they quote monitor it, and if they pass whatever the guy's little checklist is,
and they watch it.
Yes, they do the little checklist, and if they pass whatever that fucking is on that checklist that we can't see, the guard says, "Okay, you have a bright future ahead of you, young man," and he'll leave. And then like a week later, you'll be brought in to work in the Lazarus Group. So, and you can't exactly say no. Now it is good money, for North Korean standards, it's good money. But like, you can't exactly say no. Now your job is to basically just. So all those shitty phishing emails? That's your job now. You just send phishing emails, and you all day getting as much crypto as possible, and as much email and data as possible. That's your fucking life now. You're in the Lazarus Group, baby. Now they make lots of money with that, and North Korea actually has been making like I want to say decent money, but context.
Listen,
for North
5,000, $5,000 US is like enough to live out your retirement in North Korea.
Yeah, North Korea has been actually getting money, and it's not like, it's not like great there, but it's also not the arduous march, right? They're not starving as much as they used to be, and the power is, quote, been slightly more consistent lately, unquote. Actual line, by the way. Yeah, actual line, which I'm going to get to that in a minute. We're excited, fun story about that. So, but they've been making a little bit more money because of things like crypto, selling wigs and fake nails to China. That's a weird one, but they do that. They make a lot of wigs and shit.
I guess, yeah, because you could just grow out your hair. I guess that's what North Koreans have. You could sell your hair and organs, probably.
But now, there's another way they make money in North Korea. This one doesn't make as much, but... Okay, so, why can't North Korea make money? No. This one is illegal. Now, you're sanctioned for basically everything. Nobody wants to trade with you. Nobody legally can, besides like Switzerland and Russia and China. And you have nothing of value. You have a bunch of ore, but like China's got ore. They can mine it themselves. Russia has ore and gas, which you need more than they do. So you can't really trade with them either. Like, so what do you give people other than fake fucking hair? Well, it's probably real hair. But what do you give other people than just hair all day? Tourism. It is one of the only things not sanctioned by the United States is tourists visiting the country and giving that much needed foreign currency to North Korea. The only way they can get it is by inviting people in to come see the country. Now you're probably looking like that goo monster right now and saying, "How the fuck do you get on a tour to North Korea? They don't let people in."
So I'm looking at travel.state.gov, and it says here, do not travel to North Korea for any reason. US citizens are at risk. Level 4 travel. Do not travel. So you're telling me that like this is secret, that America just doesn't want me to see how amazing North Korea is?
No, America's just not allowed there. Everyone else is, though. Okay. So, Chinese people aren't allowed to come there for some reason, and Americans aren't allowed to come in. But Russians, any day of the week, any day of the year, you can come visit North Korea because they're totally bros with Russia.
Dude,
however,
there's probably some sketchy Russians that go out there and party hard with the ruble.
So, I'm glad you asked about that. So up in the northern area, so okay, across the North Korean border, you might see that there's that whole thing is all this China by the Yalu River. However, in the top right over there, that little tiny piece right there, that's actually Russian soil, and Russia can get in through there. So there's actually they border with Russia as well. And before you ask, if you escape through and before you ask if you want to know why can't you escape through Russia, well, first off, that area is maybe more mountainous, but also the Russian guards, who are even more well connected to the North Koreans, just immediately send you right back. They don't even have like morals about it like the Chinese guy do. They just send you back. So it's pretty much not an option for escaping. But anyway, I just bring that up because someone's going to ask. So Russians come into this one town near the north, and they have, and I quote, a small economic zone that allows some capitalist ideals to get much needed foreign currency, such as, but not limited to, nice hotels with casinos in them. So when you say Russians party hard with the ruble, they do. They also tried to build a floating hotel in the 90s, but it didn't go very well. So they sold it to Singapore, who then made it an actually nice hotel, but then it didn't do very well, and they sold it back to North Korea. And North Korea actually got more money out of it than when they first sold it, and then they bought it back, and they just got their fucking hotel back. But then, like, the floating hotel, which is a big hotel on, like, a big raft that just floats around in the ocean. Yes, it's a real thing. Well, it was.
I can see it, because then you're in international waters.
Yeah.
But they don't really seem to understand that.
Yeah, but, like, it did pretty well for the first few years, but, like, the Ardous March happened, and, like, people didn't want to go to North Korea anymore, and they're just like, Just get rid of the fucking building. I don't want to fucking look at it anymore. And everyone just had it got rid of. Yeah, everyone just had it dismantled. So, Un lets people in. Now, how do you think touring in North Korea in the modern day goes?
The serious answer is that you're probably like, you have this itinerary and then you follow it, unless you're a very specific type of white person. Then I guess if you're Russian, you're just allowed to run around.
So you actually are still monitored and led around, but like you're usually in one of the 3 like economic zones if you're a Russian anyway. So like you're a little more free in those areas. But if you were to go to Pyongyang, you'd have a nanny and a guard with you as well there too. But
you probably can't just like ride between cities in North Korea. You can't explore it or nothing.
No, every single travel between city to city and town to town is heavily monitored with several checkpoints and paperwork and documentation needed, even for the North Korean citizens. You must have a reason to go to this town. You can't just go explore. It is not allowed. Now, let's say I'm Kim Jong-un, and last year I decided to open the country up to a bunch of British and French people. I want them to come in here and see North Korea, and so that we're actually not all that bad, come on in, take pictures, film stuff, make YouTube videos, and give us some of those sweet fucking foreign currency, buddy. We got a gift shop. Hell, I wrote a bunch of books personally, and I translated them into English. You can buy it at the gift shop. Come on down, buddies. No Americans, so fuck you guys.
So they're doing exactly what China's doing now, where like they're paying travel bloggers and shit to come in and look at a handful of cities to show it off, to build soft international power.
Exactly. However, they're really bad at it. Now, this happened just last year. There are a handful of videos from these British and French YouTubers, and I don't want to just mog their content. I am, however, going to mog one. There's one story from there that is so fucking funny, and is so... Again, the goo guy is just so that image that I have to tell you about it. So... I'm a British guy. I've got Ted, me, you, our cameraman Dennis. we're gonna go to North Korea on this little visa here. We're invited in. We're gonna film stuff and hang out and have a good time. You ready to go to Pyongyang, Ted?
I'm a woo. Ric Flair, woo.
Okay,
I'm
so
ready.
the reason I told you Ric Flair's story is because nothing has changed at fucking all when it comes to the fucking airport. So you go to the airport, and the guards are just sitting there by the fucking place. It's like, you, travel group, Tad, Aleks, Dennis, yes, passports. They just take your passports and walk away. And you're like, go, plane. So you go and sit in the plane. Now, there's 3 of us. Luckily, it's not going so bad. But the guard then sits in the seat in front of us, turns the chair around, and then just stares at us awkwardly for 8 straight hours. So after we get to... So. When they get to Pyongyang, now they have effectively a guard with them, a tour guide, and like a nanny. They got 3 guys monitoring them because there's 3 of them, 3 dudes to monitor them. Now, this is a really interesting video. Again, I don't want to just go over the whole thing. It's like an hour long. But there are a couple key things about the journey that I really need to tell you about to show you how like just stupid this was. Because this travel, this opening of the country lasted a week. Before Kim shut it back down, and there's a reason for it, because it didn't go very well. Okay, so, they bring these guys in, they're like, hey buddy, they get like an English-speaking Korean guy, he's like, hey there guys, welcome over to Pyongyang, glad to see you, cool camera, make sure you're only filming the best things that we allow, and everything will go well. Now the guys they're being nice, they're like, of course, sure, whatever you want, my man. Yes, so they nod their heads, and like, okay, good, now, begin the tour. Over here in Pyongyang, we have, this building over here, blah, blah, blah. This was built in the Korean War after the explosions, blah, 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 over here. And over here, now here's where the first problems arise. Here are the statues of our 2 great leaders, the eternal president and our dear leader. Please bow your heads in respect and give them flowers. Now, they're like, okay, sure. Now, they already gave them flowers preemptively for, like, the whole ceremony. Go there, put flowers down. They bow very deeply. And now one of the guys wants to take a picture of the statues and record it for the whole blog, right?
Yeah.
So the problems start showing up. He's like, okay, he puts his little camera on like the little ledge, gets a nice shot. The guard walks over and says, excuse me, sir, but I happen to notice, not to pry, but I happen to notice that your frame is slightly off 2 millimeters to the left. You are cutting this millimeter of the hair from the dear leader's head. Please pan the camera back a little bit to show both leaders in equal light. You're like, okay. Just you ban it a little bit. He's like, it's a little too far. Now you're showing not enough respect. And plus, zoom in a little closer to see their glorious visages. He's like, okay. And so he zooms a little bit. It's like, yes, excellent, perfect, well done, great. And he walks away. He's like, okay, man, whatever. He takes his picture and he walks on.
What are you gonna do? They have your passport, bro.
Yeah. So you sigh, but then you're like, okay, let's go to the hotel now. Like, welcome to Hotel Pyongyang. Everything's welcome here. There is no 5th floor, by the way. Don't ask about it. You're like, you're jelly guy. What? You're like, don't worry about it. Now, please go to your room on the 7th floor and do not film anything outside your windows. You're like, jelly guy, what? So you go into the elevator. You immediately go to look at the buttons. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's it. There's no 5. You're like,
there's no 5th floor.
There is no 5th floor. Now, if you're the jelly guy right now, you're utterly confused, but also a little curious. You're like, okay, is it like broken? What's up with the 5th floor? So you ask a guy, he just is one of the random employees, who's totally not just an agent in disguise monitoring you. And you're like, hey man, is there like a staircase or something? He then looks and says, why are you interested in the staircase? The elevator is working perfectly fine. You're like, I'm just curious. Is there there is no 5th floor, sir. Please go to your room on the 7th floor. To which the guy says, how do you know we're on the 7th floor? He says, the elevator is working just fine. Please go to your room on the 7th floor. They go, okay. So they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So they just accept that this is a guy and a guard, and they just go back into the elevator. So they're in the elevator. They click the 7th floor button and they're walking up. The elevator stops on like the fucking 6th floor. A guy walks in with like his phone. He's like, yes, everything's going good. Yes, the business is going well. Pyongyang is looking really up right now. They look at him like, He's like, oh yes, I'll talk to you later. Like, hello there, guys. You guys enjoying your stay in Pyongyang? He's like, yeah, that's pretty all right. It's like, excellent. He's like, is there a goodbye, sir? And the door opens and he just leaves. So they're incredibly weirded. This is all on video, by the way. They're just incredibly weirded out right now. So there's like, okay. So they go to their room.
They're all like, it's got to be like watching a David Lynch movie where everyone's like very stiff and just kind of reciting lines.
So they get to their room. They walk in there like, all right. We gotta see the fucking windows, man. We like, come on, man. So they open the windows, and they put their camera right out there immediately. And as soon, literally, the minute the little they open the blinds. Hey guys, how you doing in there? Like, we're fine. Like, okay, you're not filming outside the windows, are you? No. Okay, just checking. We wouldn't want to have any problems, would we? And the guys go, and they put their camera away and go like, you know what? Let's not risk that right now. And they just put their camera away in the suitcase. So put the camera away. Then the next day starts. So they filmed the week that they were there. Right?
100% that room is cameraed and mic'd the fuck up. Did they have
that was one of
TV
that was
in
one of
there?
the first. So there's an old CRT in there, and they were actually just checking around, just lifting stuff. Like, let's see, this is bugged. This here, this here. They were
Inside the
immediately
TV.
grabbing around.
It's
Yeah,
inside
they were
the
immediately
TV.
feeling. So. Next day, they have an itinerary, like you said, of strictly controlled by Pyongyang just to see the best parts. Now, this group in particular is gonna go to the ski resort, baby.
The ski resort.
Yeah, So they go to the ski resort that's a little away from Pyongyang. They get into a car, they meet their handler guy, and he's a different guy, he's a little nicer. He's like, hey there, dudes, what's up? You guys ready to go down to the ski resort? Like, yeah, dude. This is in February, so it's still like winter, so it's still cold, so there's snow on the mountains. Because it's a really mountainous place. Now, they go there, they're like, okay, let's go. Driver, let's take us away. And he's being really nice. Like, all right, and they're just driving along, looking out the window. He's like, oh yes, feel free to film. It's a really nice day out today. The country's absolutely beautiful, and we're doing very well. Thank you very much for showing up. And you give them the bullshit spiel. Like, okay, yeah. Now, they stop by a place, they stop by like a town outside of the ski resort, or the skiing place, and there's like an ice rink there. They go to the ice rink, and they're like, hey there. And then there's one little girl with this older guy just dancing around the ice rink, and a Zamboni just driving around. And there's like one other guy just on the bench just sitting there just like monitoring everything. Now they walk up, the guy, the second dude, the cameraman, and their guard, they walk up and they're like, hey there, what's going on over here? Like, oh, this is our skiing, this is our ice rink, practice place where we do things for the Olympics. However, the Olympics don't allow us to do our style Olympic, where we have one larger man and one smaller woman. So we had to usually get a second larger woman who's older, who's less trained, which is why we don't always win the gold medals at the Olympics every 4 years.
Oh, what a good excuse.
Yeah, I'm just like, uh-huh. Now they look at the guy sitting on the bench past the guard, and they walk very boldly, walk past the guard and say, hey man, how are you feeling in North Korea today? Now this guy isn't in on the whole thing. He's actually just a guy working there. So he's just taking his break. He's like, what? When the guy speaks Korean, he's like, yeah, like, are you happy here? Is everything going well? Like, how do you think about the situation currently in your city? Then, you can't see the camera, but you can hear like the sound effect. You hear the guy touch him on the shoulder, and he's like, let's keep the questions to ice skating, please. And he's like, okay, sure. So what's your opinion on this style of ice skating? And he immediately pivots away from it. So,
he just goes, what? What do you mean Korean ice skating?
Yeah. So there's a little bit of them, being a little more firm there with these guys. The tension's getting a little built up. Now, nothing super different happens there. Just a little bit of the tension builds. But let's go to the ski resort itself. They drive to the ski resort. They're like, okay, here we are. You see it right there. We're driving up here. We're gonna have a good time. They just finished renovating it.
Watch it through the windows.
It looks beautiful. Yeah, it looks great. You can look out the windows. We have these brand new skis from Russia. They're really high quality. You guys are gonna love this. They drive up, and the guard outside the gates walks up, knocks on the window. He's like, "What are you guys doing here?" He's like, "Oh, we're here for the trip. Pyongyang called you guys." He's like, "We're closed, man." He's like, what? And so he's like, yeah, dude, didn't you hear? Like, we're closed. We're doing renovations. He's like, I was informed the renovations were done, and we were going to take our tour group from the British Isles to see it and see how wondrous it was. Weren't we? He's like, no, dude, we're fucking closed. He then leans over. Now he leans out the window and he starts speaking Korean, which the guys translate in the video. He's like, you don't understand. what the fuck do you mean it's closed? I was informed on the way here that it is open. To which the guard says, well, I don't know who fucking told you that because we're not fucking open. You're gonna have to go somewhere else. He's like, we can't go somewhere else. We only had enough fuel to get here. We were gonna refuel while they were skating. We can't go back to Pyongyang, you idiot. He's like, well, that's not my fucking problem. He's like, what the fuck do you mean it's not your fucking problem? I'm stuck out here because you won't let us in. He's like, look, man, just go to the neighboring town. He's like, we can't go to the neighboring town. We don't have documentation for that. Now, they're rowdy at each other. Now, he's like, look, just go over there. I'll call them for you, okay? He's like, okay. Now, the British guy's like, is there something wrong? He turns, everything is perfectly fine. We're going to make a slight detour because it turns out they weren't actually fully done with the renovations despite what they told me. So we're going to go down to the neighboring town real quick, very quickly. By the way, no cameras in the other town. He's like, uh-huh. So they get driving. So they get driving to the town. Now, at this point, the handler starts to get sweaty because this is not part of the itinerary and not what he's supposed to be doing. So him and the driver are just like tapping nervously as they drive. Now, they're not supposed to be filming this part, but they're filming it anyway with a smaller hand camera in their pocket, right? So they're filming this. The guard's just like, tapping. He's like, yeah. Okay, man. They get to the town.
Swiping his brow.
Yeah, they get to the town. They're like, okay, welcome, to whatever the town is. Welcome to town number 2. Please no cameras, no anything here. He's like, well, can we film inside the hotel a little bit? He's like, well, no, but I was like, well, dude, we can't just have like an entire second day of the trip cut off. Like, I don't even think Pyongyang would like if we did that. And the guard's actually like, I mean, I kind of agree. Like, yeah, okay, look. Inside only in the foyer, look through the nice things, and that's it. Just that, okay? No looking out the windows. The windows, not the windows. And he's like, okay. So they get the camera, they get inside the hotel, and then they walk in, they film and walking inside, and they look around. It looks like a fine. It looks okay. It's very sparsely employed. There's just like one lady just like dusting the counter. Now,
yeah, because no one's staying at the hotel. You're right.
Yeah, so there's just one lady just cleaning the place. She looks over and sees, this official goon guy walk in with 3 white guys, one of which is carrying a really big camera, walks right up into the hotel fucking foyer. She goes, hello? He's like, I know this is kind of weird, right? But hear me out on this one, okay? Now, he tries to explain himself, but while he's in there, a guard who's in the hotel looks over, because there's guards everywhere. Guard looks over and sees, this guy just walked in with 3 random white dudes. He's like, what the fuck? He's walking over, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, listen, I'm from Pyongyang. Here's my badge. He's like, I see that. What the fuck are you doing here? He's like, look, we have some car troubles. Car troubles. I was not informed of some car trouble. He's like, I was at the ski resort and the guy said he would call you. He's like, I didn't get a fucking call. He's like, listen, this is all in Korean. They're not letting the white guys hear what they're saying, right?
But
he's like,
you can tell they're agitated.
Yeah, I was like, now they're translating some of it, but I said some of it because it starts to get really hard to hear because he's like, listen, man, we ran out of fucking fuel. We had to fucking come here for a detour. We gotta fuel up. We gotta take them back to Pyongyang. We can't do that right now because we have to get a fucking certificate for it. We gotta fucking mail that in, then get it in, and we gotta fuel it up in the morning. Let's do it right fucking now. And he's like, you don't have a fucking permit to be here. Get the fuck out of here, dude. He's like, I can't fucking go. We don't have any fuel for the fucking car. He's like, what the? You can't fucking stay here. He's like, what are we supposed to do, jackass? Leave these 3 foreigners with their heavy camera out in the middle of nowhere where they can film anything? And the guard's like, fuck, right, fuck, what the? Do you have him stay here? He's like, Pyongyang will cover the cost. And he's like,
because this hotel is like, there's nothing here. These rooms are probably not stocked. These beds have probably never been used.
But more importantly, like, they're less booby-trapped and wired. Because it's not Pyongyang.
But still less.
Well, yeah, less, but also you remember, like, a lot of these things, like, okay, so a lot of the technology they have is from the Soviet era. You really think this random hotel has up-to-date shit that works, 50 years later? No, that's why they don't want them here. So they're like, fuck, okay. You still need documentation. He's like, bitch, I will give me the fucking office. And he says, give me to the fucking office. And they both walk away, like, angrily. And then you can hear them just, like, you can't hear what they're saying. You can just hear, like, in the fucking, like, in the room over in the side. They're just yelling at each other. So they're yelling at each other. You hear the word documentation for, like, the 7th time. Then it's quiet for a little bit. the guy, the first guy, the first goon walks back up, who's with our tour guide, walks back out. He's like, all right, we're all good to go, man. I have your documentation. We're ready. You guys are staying up there on the fucking 6th floor. Is there a 5th floor? Yeah, don't be a smartass. Just go to your room. And so they just take him. They take him to the hotel room. Now the guard stays in the room with them. He's like, okay, but seriously though, don't look out the fucking windows. Okay, we can't let you film out there. He's like, what's up? It's just a regular ass town. He's like, do not film, please. He says, please, just don't fucking do this, man. And he's on the back foot this time. The British guys are like, okay, sure, we promise, and we'll do you a solid. He's like, thank you, and he leaves. They immediately pull out their cameras out of their pockets and start filming out the windows. So they catch a really weird scene where they see a weird spontaneous parade where everyone's throwing these red flags and a bunch of limos drive down the street for some weird celebration that they were not told about because this was something that wasn't in the itinerary. Confused, they're like, huh? What was that? Now, the guard comes in to check up on them and says, hey, you guys didn't see that outside, did you? Like, what was outside? The parade. You didn't film that, did you? We're like, would it be okay if we did? Please let me see your camera. And he enters the room and says, please give me your camera. And he takes the camera footage and deletes it, which luckily in the span of like the 10 minutes it took him to come to the door, they were smart enough to back it up, which is what they uploaded to YouTube. But whatever that parade was, we weren't apparently supposed to see it. We only got to see it from a window, but it's just some weird thing. We just got to see some weird fucking shit going on in this part of
Korea. You're not supposed to see that part of North Korea. That's supposed to be any part of North Korea.
So
I wonder if that was just like some fucking guy, some politician fuck, you know?
Maybe. It could have been a nuclear thing too, for all we fucking know. That's what else would they fucking celebrate over there? But what I like about this, so between this and there, nothing super eventful happens for the rest of their trip. This is kind of like the highlight is like getting the skiers already going away. But it is a small look into like how immediately this idea went like sour, because like it's actually really hard to control. Like everyone has like a phone and a camera. It's really hard to control like the narrative at that point. Yeah. And so like when Kim and his goons saw like this whole thing unfold, they just like just hit the button, just close
never
the gate.
Mind.
Just never mind about this. There's several more of these, and then the video does go on long, but I don't want to mug the whole I don't want to mug the whole content. But like, I love that one in particular because it's such an interesting look at like
at what's actually happening.
But also seeing like the facade crack, where even the guard is like, "What the fuck do you mean it's not fucking?" Like where he immediately is on the back. I love that story. It's so good. Now
it's like. You're when you're trying to figure out like an after effect, you're like, what the fuck was going on there? And then you're like, yeah, it is because everything is bureaucratic. You have to have everything filled. The fact that they only have enough fuel to drive them around like that is crazy to me. That's such a nut, because that is completely fundamentally different than how the United States works.
We have a gas station every like 10 yards.
I wipe my ass with the dead dinosaurs, bro. I drive to work twice, there and back. I don't take a bus. Like, what? I'm shocked they even have enough gas for the buses.
Well, public transportation is more of a priority because it's how you get people to work, which is how you keep your fucking dead fucking country even alive. So that's more allowed. Like, this was more of a small personal like driving trip, so that one was way lower priority and had way less fuel. It's all bureaucratic hoo-ha essentially. Yeah. So that's mostly the gist of what it is. But I want to tell you one more story to kind of close this out, because we haven't gone for 3 hours. Like I could legit talk about this for like 10 hours. But let's keep it to 3 to keep it rounded out. All right. Now, one final story. You did ask about which one of Kim Jong-un's brothers died, because it was one of them. So here's what happened. There are two brothers. There's the previous mentioned Kim Jong-nam and Kim Jong-chol. Now, Kim Jong-nam was actually really close to Kim Jong-un's uncle, aka Kim Jong-il's brother. But Kim Jong-un actually had his uncle fucking executed because he had more political favor than he liked, and he was a threat to total control. But that put Nam in the spotlight in a bad way because he was close with this guy, right? So now it's like, could Nam potentially be like a threat like him? Nam says, don't worry, I'm not like that. I am loyal to the cause. Don't worry about it. In fact, I'm going to leave just so you can run everything yourself. I'm not even going to do anything. Now he goes over to hang out in China a little bit, and he sees the economically reformed China, which even though they call themselves, socialist and stuff, they're very clearly like a capitalist country.
Yeah.
Now he sees all that and goes, interesting. He goes back home to Pyongyang, and he's like, hey, why don't we try to do some economic reforms like China did? Immediately, this nosedived his fucking reputation with his brother right there, because Kim Jong-un does not want that, because to do that would give corporations more power than him, and he can't allow that to happen. The small economic zones in the north are okay, because it's with Russia, and he can trust those guys, but he can trust those random, much like the chef, he can trust these random guys more than he can trust his brother and the random politicians that orbit him, right? So
because his brother's pointing out the fucking obvious.
Yeah, so he doesn't like that. So he has to get rid of him. Initially, he just exiles Nam to China just to fuck off and don't come back. But that's not good enough, because even while he's gone, he overheard people talk about Nam, well, just casually. He's like,
they can't know that they can't even think of him. I have to be the only possible option. I have to be the only possible thing here, because if I were to die or something would happen, he can't be a backup for reform or any political splintering in the party. I have to take him out. So he orders an assassination on his brother. Now here's how they do it. This was really famous. This happened back in 2018. This started by killing his uncle for no fucking reason.
Here's the threat. Now he goes and hires his goons. They just do what he says. His two goons go out to a Malaysian airport where Kim Jong Nam.
Kim Jong Nam. Yeah, God, is this assassination attempt? So I don't know this story, so I don't think they threw a grenade in there, which is my first idea was.
There's no commandos this time, so here's what they do.
We ran out of grenades early. We used them all up in the first two stories.
So he's in a Malaysian airport just doing stuff in Malaysia, because he's not allowed in Korea anymore. So he's
Malaysian about.
Yeah, so they track him down there, and they have North Korean guys go there and find these two random Indian kind of women who don't really speak the language all that well. And they say, hey guys, we're doing a prank show. We need to get a random people on here. Could you take this weird substance and smear it on that fat guy's face for us? They're like, yeah, sure, all right. So they get a camera, they run up to fucking Nam and smear some weird shit in his face. His face then starts to melt off and he dies.
Oh! So what a gruesome way to do it. Oh my god, you know why he did it like that? It's so that they couldn't have a death mask.
So, they smeared this stuff that got into his eye sockets, dripped down into his brain, his brain, and started to melt him in his lungs from the inside out. He died within 20 minutes. I forget what it's called. It's a specific type of chemical nerve agent, but it's very fucking dangerous. And the CIA has lots of it, by the way. But that's how they just killed him. They killed him immediately right there. He was dying painfully and slowly, begging for the authorities to help him, but there's literally nothing they can do. The minute that touched his eyes, he was dead. It was over, and they just had to watch him just basically fucking melt from the inside out and die. But there is another brother. You might have heard me mention Chol. Now, where is Chol in all this? Now, Chol was mentioned earlier as being the nicer kid. Un, from what we know, because again, we're looking over with binoculars and only have some stories to go off of here, but from what we know, he doesn't seem to hate Chol, but he also doesn't respect Chol. He seems to treat Chol just kind of like a random goon and kind of push him around. But that's better than smearing weird nerve agent in his eye sockets, I guess. So Chol is interesting because he's kind of just a random guy in the Presidium. He doesn't really have any real specific power. Just the way Un likes it. He's just kind of there because he's his brother. Now, what if I told you there's a reason why he was passed up, and it wasn't just because he was a little pussy? So one day, this is back in the late 90s, before Un was even a thing. This is a long time ago. Kim Jong-chol wanted to go on vacation outside of North Korea. Now, it's possible, because again, you go to Switzerland and stuff, but he didn't want to go there. He wanted to go to England. That's a lot harder to go to than Switzerland for North Korea. So we're going to have to figure this out. Now, even though he doesn't technically have a lot of power, he still is Kim Jong-un's brother, and also at this point, Kim Jong-un is in power. This is in the 90s. He's still Kim Jong-il's son, and he's still got to do what he says, so he's just roll with whatever he wants, right? So they got to take him out over to fucking England. Okay, how do we do that, man? So we go. Now Chol isn't like a smart or like leaderly guy. He's legitimately just kind of like a prince because he's like younger at this point. He's just like, I want to go on vacation. I want to play guitar there, man. Can you guys get me there? The guards, the commissioners have to go. I guess you fucking have to, huh? So here's a slightly lighthearted story to end it off, other than a guy melting to death. So let's get Chol to England. We go to Switzerland and we go, okay, now we're going to get our fake South Korean passports and outfits and our fake accents and go to England. All right. So they get there and it goes remarkably smoothly. However,
I love the idea of, hold on, guys, we got to get our South Korean accents right or the British are going to be able to tell us apart.
Well, because from their perspective, it's obvious, right? Everyone knows the difference between a North and South Korean accent. So they get to England pretty much easily, because as you said, it's not like I know what the difference between the accents are. They get over there, and so they get over there.
Instantly, a cameraman goes, "That's his brother."
Not instantly, but very quickly that starts happening because Chol is like, okay, it's not hard to figure out.
Fucking 31 dudes around him.
Exactly. He's like, all right, we are nice and discreet. All right, dear leader's son,
listen,
where do you want to go?
It's not a big deal when you have 31 people surrounding one of your pedophile princes, but if he's not from around here, it's a little weird. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's like, I want to go to this music store. Can we go there and get a guitar? He's like, sir, do we have enough money to buy a guitar? He's like, my father has plenty of money, doesn't he? To which the guy's like, remember, this is the Ardous March at this point. He's like, yes, sir. We have plenty to buy an expensive guitar for you. Yes, indeed. As he like grimaces with a fake smile and anger in his face. He's like, awesome, cool, man. Let's go. All 30 of them just enter this random guitar shop, and the guy's there's like, hello.
Holy fuck. Because you know the door's like, ding ding, and then he doesn't look up, but ding
There's just 30 random Korean dudes in his store. He's like, what can I do for you? He's like, you got a nice guitar? He's like, define nice. He's like, he's looking around the store. He's like, that one. He points out to like this really like $1,000 like really fancy guitar. He's like a Stratocaster. That's a pretty big. Yeah, actually, that's what it was. Yeah, you actually know what it is. So he's like, I like that one. May I play it before I buy it? He's like, you're gonna buy that? He's like, yes, of course. I'm good with money, aren't we, fellows? And one guy's screaming, like, yes, we have $1,000 to go away for a guitar, sir. Yes, of course we do. He's just like,
that's like 10% of their treasury.
So he's like, awesome, cool. Now the guy gives him the guitar, and allegedly, he's actually really good at it, and he just starts fucking rocking out on the guitar in the goddamn shop in front of these 30 Koreans and the one shopkeeper. The 30 which had never heard this kind of music before because they're a bunch of random guards. Yeah. So they're like, they're confused slime guys going, okay, weird. I didn't know the Supreme Leader's son was musically gifted.
I didn't know he was hip like that.
He's like, oh man, that was awesome. I'll take the guitar. He's like, dude, you should come play at like the bar, later tonight. He's like, you know what? I think I will. The guard stops grimacing. He grabs the guy. He's like, sir, we cannot do that, man. Dude, we cannot have you do that. He's like, please. He's like, no, dude. He's just like, sorry. But like, as you can see, I got some people here. I can't really show up, man. He's like, nah, it's all cool, man. But there's a big concert happening downtown in a couple days. You should probably head over there. He's like, you know what? He turns to his fellows. I think we should. We can get a ticket for everybody, can't we? The financing guy's just like, yes, we can totally get a ticket for everybody, sir. We can totally do that, sir. So he's like, all right. First, it's time for a couple days. Let's get a hotel. What's the nicest hotel in all of England? He's like, oh, the guy's
the nicest hotel in all of England? Oh, it's the fuck, what's the goddamn Motel 6?
No, it's hold on. The nicest hotel in England. There's a name for it. There's an actual name. It is It was either the Royal Garden Hotel or it's the Resident Liverpool. I think it was Liverpool. It's
Actually, Alex,
whatever the 5-star
it's
hotel
the $28 a night Travelodge Newbury London Road 2-star hotel. Alex, you know you're in for a good time when the description on Google is low-key budget hotel with a restaurant. Streamlined. Oh, you never want to see that in a description.
What if I told you he does in fact go to the 5-star hotel and gets a room for all 30 of his fucking dudes? So he goes there. And he's just
everyone gets a guitar.
He's already bought the plane ticket, the luggage, the guitar. He's gonna buy the concert tickets in about 5 fucking minutes, and now you got the hotel room. We got a couple rooms to cram all of these guys into, and then all the goons. Some of the goons are like, okay, man, whatever. I'm just here. Well, the ones who are more in charge, like, they're tapping their foot, like, oh, this is bad. Oh, I don't like this, man. We're way neck deep in England right now, man. Everyone's looking at us, man.
We don't have enough fuel to get back to the hotel.
Now, I like to point out that at this point, no one is looking at them. But the thing is that in a weird twist of fate, because they're acting really shifty, like, okay, you go to the hotel room. The 5-star hotel doesn't exactly welcome 30 random Korean guys all bunched up surrounding one dude every fucking day. He's like, oh yeah, I'm the ambassador from South Korea. Name's Jimmy. Here's my card. I'm here for a hotel room for all of us. They go, uh-huh. I'm looking at ambassadors who got 30 guards.
Like, I'll tell you this, like, if I was in a hotel like that and I saw that, I'm British, I just think, oh, this is some Chinese guy, like business guy or something, right? You don't think anything of it until you look a little closer, and then then it all falls apart. You're like,
yeah, you see their Soviet rubber boots they didn't change out of.
Yeah.
So you go to the hotel room. Now, here's where really mundane problems that are literally not an issue, but they are issues for the North Koreans because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Most of these guys have never been outside of the country. They're now in the middle of a 5-star hotel in England. They can't speak English, and they're just having to babysit effectively this giant child on his little adventure through the music shop and a concert coming up. He's like,
Baby's
hey,
day out.
He's like, hey guys, I need you to get this suit for me clean. I want it to look good for the concert in the next day. It has to be dry clean, please. He's like, is there a dry cleaner open that's at 2 a.m, sir? He's like, yeah, there is. Find one. He's like, fuck. Okay, so you're the prisoner of the guards. The dear leader's son just told you to get to a laundromat and get this clean right now. He's going to sleep at 2 a.m. He's going to be up at, let's say, noon. You got to get this, cleaned and back to him and right there.
Hours to dry clean.
Yeah, so he hits a powwow session with his other commissars and all the other lower level guys. He's like, all right, 30 boys, huddle up. We're fucked if we don't get this done right now. I need all of us to lock in. We're checking every phone book, every goddamn internet site, every goddamn Yelp reviewer, every goddamn citizen. We are finding a 2 a.m. laundromat at 2 a.m, and we are getting this shit clean. They then break. Again, fucking Cho's asleep, snoozing, and they go break, and they book it. They book it out of the hotel, and this is what starts drawing heads. Because it's 2 a.m, and they're now 3 oddly well-dressed, guard-looking Koreans in rubber boots walking around, sussing out the city. Everyone who is up at 2 a.m. looks at this and goes, uh-huh. So they start, making some phone calls. Now, luckily, during this, they somehow managed to find a 24/7 laundromat. Now, you might be thinking, why did they just use their smartphones and Google it? They're North Koreans said they don't have smartphones. They can't just quickly Google, 24/7 laundromat near me. They gotta do it on foot.
And they don't speak English, so they're not gonna go over and ask someone to do that.
Yes. So, a couple of them speak a little English, but you know what I mean? None of them have, a conversation. One of the guys finds the laundromat and goes, holy shit, I found it. Calls up the other ones who have a regular phone, goes,
on a military phone.
I found it, brothers. It's right here. They run around. Some of them run to find the ones who don't have phones, grab them and drag it back. All 30 of them at what? I'm dead serious. This is about 3 a.m. now, because it takes an hour. At 3 a.m, enter the laundromat to see the night shift employee and says, hello, we need this suit done right now before noon. Is possible? Question mark. Guys are like, yeah, I guess. It's like, excellent. Here is $25. Keep the change. He's like, okay, sure. so he dry cleans the thing. The guards then just stand around the laundromat at 3 a.m. and wait an extra hour, and wait an extra hour, and wait an extra hour, and the laundry is done. They get they just stand there like fucking statues, man. They get the laundry, they're like, okay, we have it. We gotta get back right now before he fucking wakes up. Now, theoretically speaking, they don't have to really need it until like noon, but they're nervous, right? They're in the middle of enemy territory, so they just fucking fast walk all the way back to the fucking goddamn hotel. Walk in there, the concierge just like, hey there guys, do you need help? They just rudely walk past really fast and bump into the guy and go back to their room. Again, starts turning some heads. So they go over there. Next day arrives. Chol wakes up, takes the biggest stretch of his life. He's like, all right, boys. You got my suit? And they're like, actually, yes. We actually do have your suit freshly dry cleaned. Bam, they give it to him. And he says, and I quote, oh, I didn't think you guys actually could get it done. Shit, all right, good job. And he just takes the suit. So he basically just sent them on an errand he assumed they couldn't do just to, like, fuck with them, I guess. Quote, this is when one of the guards stopped seeing Chol in a good light and started seeing him as a spoiled prince, unquote. Which allegedly is why Ill started to have ill favor with him too, because that guard allegedly ratted him out to the Supreme Leader for his attitude here. But anyway, they go to the concert. Now, how do you think they get their tickets? Do you think they get a couple tickets around? No, they get them all in one giant area in like one section next to each other.
All fucking God damn it! There's 30 guards and one dude. They all storm in there and like that fucking like liquid filling up the room.
So people are like taking pictures like, who's that weird Asian guy over there with like all the 30 bodyguards? That's who. And start taking pictures of him. Now the guards see the picture, they go, dude, this isn't good, man. We're supposed to keep a low profile. I think we're keeping a low profile. What? I can't hear you. I said we're supposed to be keeping a low profile. Why? Like,
hold on a second. That accent ain't right. Then there's North Koreans, not South.
I said we can't let people take pictures of the dear leader's son. The dear leader's son? Yeah! And they're like, and so people see the confused slime image, go, the dear leader's son, huh? And they start taking more pictures of him. And this makes international news of, did Kim Jong-il's son illegally just shuffle his way into England to go to a fucking rock concert? To which Kim Jong-il was very upset that this happened, and he was very upset and sent him back home and sent him back to his room and grounded him. Now, this made every guard, like, the guards got out of this and like they didn't get punished or anything. Everything went well, but a lot of them started getting really disenfranchised with Chol at this point.
The Kim regime, yeah.
Yeah. A couple of these guys would actually defect. That's how we know this story. But you want to know the next story that happened to Chol and why no one really cares if Chol does anything?
Think about like the self-restraint. Any one of those guys, they would have had to actually be like believers in their soul about this shit, or they must have been or they, more likely they have family back home and they know that if they defect and run away here in England, they's all getting fingernails off.
Well, what are they gonna do in England? They can't speak English. They're just gonna sit there like sitting on a fucking corner store or something. No, it's a waste of time.
But you would have to drink so much North Korean Kool-Aid.
So, side note about that, they actually do allow North Korea is tiered into 3 classes in the Songbun system. The upper class of the trusted class is the higher privilege, higher ranking guys like these super guards and these politicians.
Military people, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are trusted, and those guys are actually allowed to leave the country on work visas for short periods of time, usually 3 or so months, to get foreign currency for North Korea. You actually remember this because we were watching that one video together of that guy going to China to go look at the guys through the fucking binoculars over the river. When he was there, he met those 2 ladies at the hotel who were North Koreans because they were on work visas in there for 3 months. They just do that for the trusted class because they know they're trusted. They're not going to leave. Now, there's the wavering class, which is just where me and you would be. They're just regular citizens. Those guys just work in the fucking mills and shit and just work all day. Then there's the disloyal or untrustworthy class. Those are the guys in the work camps up in the fucking northern areas in the mountains, just effectively just being tortured forever. Those are the 3 tiers of citizens in North Korea. So these guys are the trusted class, so they actually do trust them to not leave because they are so loyal and because they're drinking so much of the Kool-Aid. So anyway, this last story of Chol, because this is the only other thing this guy has done. Chol pulled the same kind of shit again, this time with less guards to make it less suspicious. He's like, I want to go to Disneyland, everybody. Kim says, Kim Jong-il's like, why? He's like, because Disneyland is the magic place. I want to take me and my kids there. Your family too. Come on, let's go over there and have some fun. See the magic. He's like, that is capitalistic bullshit. He's like, come on, man, it's just Disneyland. And he's like, sure, whatever, go, do your fucking thing, man. I don't even care. Again, Il is like getting kind of fed up with him at this point. He goes to Japan, Japan Disneyland. Is what I would say if he got to Japan Disneyland. He goes to the airport with his fake South Korean ID. It is immediately sussed out as fake, and the airport goes, wait a second. Fake ID, guy in wealthy clothing, family, couple of guards. Oh my god, you're that guy from the British thing, aren't you? Holy shit, you're that guy! And the news breaks out that Kim Jong-chol got fucking humiliated, quote unquote, by going to this goddamn airport and with a fake ID and, quote, looking like an idiot, unquote. Kim Jong-il basically disowned him at that point because he's like, okay, if you can't even do this right, you're not a leader, man. You're not gonna lead this fucking country. I'm giving this to one of your brothers. Well, that is like fuck.
Did he still get to go to Disneyland?
No, he didn't get to. He didn't pass the airport. They just turned him around and sent him back. So he just
dude, imagine how much seething they were about just the jet fuel cost to go from the airport in Pyongyang to Japan and back.
Yeah, got to Japan, get immediately sussed out, and then just turned back around back to the plane. Just got fucked. Just got nothing. It was humiliating. But like, fuck, dude. Like, okay, I can do this forever, but we are at 3.5 hours. I will cut it there at a happier story. But like, listen, you could tell. I love this place.
Like,
I think
there's
it's
still
really
stuff
fun
that I want to know about. Like, I don't know Korean mythology. I don't know how they bastardize Korean. I mean, with the Juche stuff, I know that.
I mean, I can just tell you. It's. I can tell you about in 30 seconds.
Okay. Alex, I have to go to work tomorrow.
No, 30 seconds. Clock it. All right. Sacred Mount Pictou. Mount Pictou is where everything ever in Korea comes from. It's a huge, big mountain with a big lake on top of it. It from there is where all the mythological beings and gods come from. Is what Korean mythology is. North Korean mythology is that Kim Il-'s son was born on that mountain. Rainbows appeared in the sky as he, as a baby, walked down onto the earth and with super intellectual brains created missiles that were promised to them 3,000 years ago. With his pure mathematical genius, he can ride 18 horses at once as a 1-year-old toddler. And also he can hold 3 different guns with one hand. I'm not making this up, by the way.
And he's also really, really good at NBA Jam. Like, so much better than his stupid friend.
Mount Pictou is literally just where they just make up shit, where they'll just say, this current Kim did X and Y bullshit. He has laser eyes and he doesn't shit. And all of this comes from the blessed mountain of Mount Pictou. By the way, you are not allowed to visit Mount Pictou under any circumstances. Here's a nice photo of it, a nice video camera shot on North Korean TV. But you can never, ever go there. Okay, bye.
So is it dry? Is it dry now?
No, there's still a lake there. You're just not allowed to go there and see that the legend is bullshit.
That's
you can go from a distance and see it with binoculars, but you can't go up the mountain. You're just not allowed. So anyway, North Korea. I love this place. I would never visit there. You can pay me to visit there. They will kill me. They will kill you for the things I said. I'll end up like Warren Beer, where I'm just assassinated. I'm not doing that. It is a gross fascination of mine. I feel bad. I do feel bad because I am effectively just looking at people in a zoo and going, look at the weird people and their weird way of life. I am a bad person. I understand, but I can't help myself. It's so fucking fascinating. I love learning about this place, and I will continue to learn about this place until I die.
It is a fascinating place on Earth. It is like a zoo. It's fucking, he's got these people locked into a room and they can't leave. and it's locked down so fucking tight. It's like the perfect size for someone to be able to do that. Like China is trying to do that, but you know that whole system's crumbling. Doesn't mean that they're gonna loosen the chains at all, but
No.
it's seeing it makes you appreciate things. I could just
Yeah, it
go
does,
to
it does.
Disneyland. Well, I can't go to
Yeah,
Disneyland.
your ass ain't afford
that.
Disneyland.
I can't afford that kind of shit. I'm making podcaster money.
Listen. I appreciate that I live here because even though I live under a reign of satanic, pedophilic, fucking baby eaters, you know what?
At least you can laugh at Asian people.
At least I can take my super cool, badass scooter for really cool dudes and not need paperwork for it, I guess.
Yeah. Alex, by the way, for people at home, Alex takes his scooter on the fucking highway.
I did that once today. I just that one time.
On the highway. Dude, you were gonna turn it to paste.
This
Alex,
thing goes like
you know
30
what's gonna
miles
happen?
an hour.
Some roided out dude is gonna see you like, I'm gonna hit that homo on his gay little scooter. Just for
No,
the thrill of it.
He would never say that. Volition, he would never say that. It is a super cool, badass scooter for really cool dudes. You are a really cool dude. He would never call you gay.
He's right. You know what else he's right about? You should find the podcast on YouTube or Twitter /X. It's called X, even though all the website stuff still calls for Twitter. And I think that gives me a small amount of joy whenever I see it. We like to laugh here. We like to laugh a lot. There's a Discord in the description. We laugh a lot there. Patreon in the description, all that good stuff. This was very fun. If there are Korean interests that you guys are aware of, South Korea is a whole nother fucking beast. I think we mentioned the feminist cult, but I don't think we ever really dove super deep into it. Like, if there's interesting North Korea factoids you want to know, let me know by I do read the comments, by the way. So every time you guys call me fat or dumb or gay, I do see it. You know what I look at it? I look at it like Jellyman, because people mean nothing to me. The people that are mean to me mean nothing. They're like ants, Alex. All right, that's all I got. I hope you guys appreciate this supersode, and I hope you have a very nice day.
Okay, bye.
I'm gonna hit stop now. Goodbye.